Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of MMM without Canoli Sasquatch on Canoli Sasquatch's channel. We have two guests here, though, with us today. And welcome, chat. We see you. Sorry we're late. It's totally my fault. I was playing Stardew Valley. Blaine, welcome back to the channel. How are you, dude?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good. Still just trash talking Senor Canoli over here on X, just giving him a little bit of grief.
He deserves it. He deserves it, especially being an Italian, so it's all good. Lydia, it's you've transitioned, I see. How are you this evening?
I know the testosterone's not working very well. As you can see, I still have some feminine features. I'm doing good.
I might argue more.
Yeah. Nobody can compete with this, but I'm doing good. I'm glad I can make it. I'm stuffing my face with dinner right now, so I might.
You're good. Don't worry. Whitey, I see you've transitioned as oh, you're in the suck zone. How are you?
Yeah, well, Gord was in the deep south suck zone, and I was like, well, I can't compete with that. So,
Gord, how you been? You had a meme video out yesterday. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Solid memes.
Yeah, 2 of those in a week. Next couple of days, I'll have my next Poorly Explained out. So been hard at work, but I found time to rewatch Interview with a Vampire, so that was fun. But,
and we're gonna do a quick, just little brief, like where we're at with this movie. But I'm sure everyone has noticed that Canoli just hasn't been around lately. And in our MMM group chat, he did send us a video, kind of explaining why he's just suddenly dipped the last month. So I'm gonna play that for all of you because he wanted you guys to see it.
For every day that they refused to tell us who was on the Diddy Party guest list, I'm gonna oil up one of my bros. And don't think I won't do it. I know where they keep it. It's at CVS. They have it in big, big bottles. I'll oil up one of my bros. I'll put it on the staircase. No one leaves. All you have to do is write down all the names of the guests from the Diddy Party. People think Diddy's just, oh, he's a good musician. Oh, no, he's a rapper. No. Oh, and it starts tonight. For every night that I don't know who is on the guest list, one of my bros gets oiled up. He might even get back shots. I'm a man of my word.
That's why Canoli isn't around anymore.
Wait a minute.
He's getting oiled. He's getting oiled.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear what he was
really
oiling. What was he oiling?
His bros.
His bros.
As
Is that
one
thing,
does.
dude? Oh, I was gonna ask. Do dudes do that?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a guy thing? Daddy, chill.
Oh, Nadia, so innocent.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
You
I
don't
have
know about-
sisters. I don't
know about oiled bros, really.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do when I want to hang with my homies. I'm just like, it's time to lube up.
I'm not
We're gonna-
surprised.
That's
We're
like
going to get greasy.
It's a cover charge, practically.
Yeah.
Real quick, we have a $9.99 super chat from Steven Ransom. Thank you
God
so
dang
much.
it, Bex. You're supposed to call it a 999.
Oh, 999 super chat from Steven Ransom. Blaine, would you like to read this for us, please?
Yes. I'm so confused. How can I trust a bear if they're white?
I'd say you can only trust a bear that's white.
Yeah, that's a good question. Hold on, I'm trying to find the right clip to play for you that also answers that question.
Good morning, ma'am. Up yours.
how can you not trust a face like this?
I thought it was going to be unedited. I was like, no, she didn't.
Oh yes, she did.
Even though I've seen that clip like 10 times since I joined this show, whenever Vex posts, I keep thinking to myself, she's got a secret one stashed in there that isn't edited. I know it.
Demonetized.
One of these days, maybe I will. Now that I've uploaded clips to this thing.
Yeah.
So real quick, before we jump into the film, I just wanted to kind of run through when you guys first saw the original, not the show, but the movie Interview with the Vampire, and what some of your thoughts were. We'll start from the bottom. Natia.
As I'm stuffing my face with pasta.
Okay, then we'll skip you and come. Oh,
Whoa,
No,
she
I
ate
got
the
it.
microphone too. Damn.
I got it.
Calm down.
I got it. I saw this movie before I knew what homosexuals were. So I was very young, and it totally went over my head, the relationship they had. Really enjoyed it because I was going through my little goth phase as a child. Yes.
that relationship, right?
Mm-hmm. Love it. I think it holds up. It is not as close to the source material as I would like it to be, but I mean, back then, and yes, they are homosexuals, Boosh. Vampires dip everywhere, all right? When you're alive that long, you're going to dip your thing in everything, okay?
I actually have some comments about that as we get into it, but I kind of disagree with you.
Well,
Get her.
fuck you. I'm out.
Oh, okay. It was nice knowing you, I guess. Blaine, what are your thoughts about 1994's Interview with the
I
Vampire?
thought you were going to say homosexuals. I was like, we're opening. We're going there.
I mean,
so
that too, if you really want. It's an election week, so we might as well.
Well, after all the oiling up.
Yeah, right.
Tonight
Exactly.
we're reviewing homosexuals.
I've made my position clear why oiling up my bros. So yeah, I think I saw this for the first time when I was like probably like 16 or something, and I remember it didn't like blow my socks off, but I was like intrigued. And I think honestly, still I'm kind of in that same boat where it like didn't fully blow my socks off, but I'm like, that's a solid movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, and I've heard a lot about the show. Has anybody else watched the
I've
television
seen the show. I've seen
Okay.
it
I have
entirely.
not.
I
I've heard.
think Sam Reed is a better Lestat in the show than Tom Cruise is in this movie. Though I still enjoy this movie for what it is for the time. I think Sam Reed plays it better in the show.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I just the second I saw Race Swap Louis, I was like, I'm out. I'm not into this at all. White Bear, I see you have a lovely meme there.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
but it's not. It's all cut off.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
it cut off, unfortunately.
Thoughts, please share.
Well, I will say this, that I am trying my best not to be biased about the movie because thanks to goth chicks with daddy problems, getting my dick sucked, I would rate this a 10 out of 10. But I went back and rewatched it all the way through and all that. Yeah, there's some issues, but I really do like this movie. So first time I saw it, I mean, a lot of magical things happened because of this movie. So how can I? It's hard to compete with that.
I totally understand. Gord.
I saw this, I'm pretty sure the year after it came out, maybe even just a few months after it came out. I think it was within that year. My sister was the one, I guess, who kind of introduced me to this movie. 'Cause this is kind of more of a movie for the ladies in most respects. But yeah, she introduced me to this. I always thought it was pretty solid. I hadn't watched it in a really long time though. So going back to watching again, if nothing else, was a bit of a nostalgia trip. We'll go over what I guess I think about the movie overall, but I would say that my opinion of it is pretty much the same as it's always been. I don't love the movie, but it is something I have rewatched, several times at least, just not in recent history.
Okay. Real quick, Batman has entered the back room apparently.
Oh my gosh.
Hello.
Hi, Canoli.
Hello. Welcome to my
What
show.
are you doing here? What? We didn't expect you.
Saying hello.
Oh man, now we have to tune down the gay rhetoric. I am.
Oh no! This movie's perfect for the gay rhetoric.
I don't think your autism could handle it.
Well, it can handle more. Well, yeah, that's probably right. But hello, welcome.
Since you're here, Canoli, welcome in. When did you first see Interview with the Vampire? What were some of your initial thoughts with the movie?
I saw this maybe about 3 years after it came out. Really didn't know what to think of it. I honestly, since I am was very immature and full of autism back then, I really didn't.
Did your autism just cut you all the way off right now?
You gotta
Actually,
unmute-
Beck, yeah. If he's still working and stuff, if you don't mind sharing my screen, I could show you exactly what I thought of the movie back when I first saw it.
Okay.
This week I saw Interview with the Vampire, and here's my review. Not gay enough.
Very nice. All right. Well, Canoli has all the way tismed out of the conversation, so we're just gonna jump right into the movie. All right. So this takes place. Well, it starts off at least current day 1994, New Orleans. Oh, I thought I had scrolled past all these. Oh, bear with me a moment. There we go. Okay. And we're immediately introduced to, I guess, I don't know. Well, Louis is definitely our main character. I guess the boy, the interviewer or whatever, he's a secondary character. Christian Slater and then Brad Pitt, right? And
I think his name is like Daniel something.
They gave him a name in this, but
Song.
he doesn't have a name in the book, and I can't remember what it is in the movie. So we'll just go with
Song.
Interview.
Song? Interview? Song, boy. We'll go with boy.
Daniel
We're safe.
San.
You know what? It's called Google. I will do it for you.
Okay, I'm sorry, Nadia. I'm controlling a lot of things already. Okay.
Jesus.
I get it. I just
Also,
was on a stream.
Malloy.
They say that Christian Slater's like 24.
Daniel.
There's no way this dude's 24 right now.
So
Daniel Malloy. That's his name. Daniel Malloy.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
they continue that in the series too. They call him Daniel Malloy.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So this was originally supposed to be River Phoenix, so maybe that's why
Yeah.
like he's
that
supposed to be 24, but yeah, he was a replacement Christian Slater.
He was okay. Hang
Okay.
on though, but for real though, Christian Slater was 25 when this came out.
Really?
Yeah,
No way.
out
I
in
would have guessed at
94.
least like
It came out
30.
in 94. He was born in 1969. He was 25.
Wow.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
I
He
mean,
looks a
the
lot-
drugs catch up with you, right?
Yeah.
Still would.
And they
He's
say,
He's doing
and they
better
say-
nowadays.
and they say vampires never age.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a little flabbergasted by Nadia's would comment. Ew.
Would not. Would not.
Jesus.
Would not.
See, I
Brad
would
Pitt.
current
No.
day Brad Pitt, not young Brad
Absolutely
Pitt.
not.
Ah,
Not this hobo. No way.
Not this hobo. Wow.
Hobo.
All right. So Christian
Wow.
Slater, Daniel San is I guess he's a struggling writer of some sorts. Or he is a writer, but basically he met Louis somehow. It's not really revealed how they met, and they're going to sit down for a conversation, right?
I don't
And
know if
they-
he's struggling, just other than receding hairline. I think he's.
I get the sense that he is some kind of journalist who I think he said something like he works for some kind of publication and his forte is that he interviews people that he finds interesting. Just like
Okay.
yeah, it's some kind of venture like that.
They didn't say
Okay.
that in the movie though, right?
I don't
think
remember
they,
it.
I
I
think
just
they
watched
alluded
it like
to it at
5
least
seconds
to
ago.
I want to say
5
they alluded to
seconds.
it to a certain degree.
I don't think they mention it.
So sitting down, he's in a little bit of disbelief, right? He's like, "Oh, this dude says he's a vampire, but vampires aren't real, right?" So Louis just dives straight into his story. So it is we're transported back to 1794 or 1791, and this is New Orleans in Louisiana, and he is a 24-year-old plantation owner. Red Dead Redemption
Racist.
fans will recognize this scene quite
Mhm.
nicely. And his wife and daughter have just passed away, so he's quite miserable. That is a little bit of a change from the novel. In the novel, it was his brother that passed away that made him so miserable. But basically, just like he doesn't have the will to take his own life, so he's just kind of living a pretty indulgent and hedonistic lifestyle. He doesn't care anymore, right? So we see him we see just like a bit of like straight visualization of that, where he's playing a card game and things get a little haywire. It's like, you lack the courage of your convictions, sir. I have to say, I think this is Brad Pitt's worst role. Like, I actually don't think he was a very good fit for this. I don't know what you guys think.
I mean, I don't think he's terrible, but yeah, of the primary actors, like it kind of sticks out when you're getting outacted by child Kirsten Dunst.
Dude,
Yes.
she shows up.
Not
She's
Jason.
really good in this, oddly enough.
Yeah.
She's
think-
quite good.
Brad does a lot better at the latter end of the movie, especially when we have the revenge scene. I think he actually uses his voice, like a normal voice, and it's they actually make it booming. But earlier in this movie, like when he was talking to Christian Slater, even when he was scaring him and turning on the light really quick and moving around, like, ooh, he's moving really quick. It was so unimpressive, and he's just like, hey, how you doing? It wasn't a good fit. Like you said, Kirsten Dunst, really.
But who was the
He's more
actors at the time that could have fit at this point? Because wasn't he one of the most upcoming actors at the time? That's why they.
He was in his
Yeah.
prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
I think when he's like his character's a little bit more subdued, he's good. Like I think for most of the interview, he's really good. But even in that room, like near the end, when he's like holding him up by the neck, it's like that part's a little cringe. But
It's when he becomes like mature Louis, like older Louis, he's
Yeah.
much better. But for like 3/4 of the film, it's like, I'm not buying you in a lot of this role, which is really disappointing, because Tom Cruise is even giving a pretty stellar performance as well.
Heck yeah.
But I would say Brad's like because I think what you probably meant by his prime is you're talking about his popularity. I think his acting prime really started with Seven. Like that's where I think he started to emerge as a great actor.
Mm-hmm. Other than Arnold Schwarzenegger, I can't think of anybody else who could have played him at the time.
I would have loved that.
Now we're
He
talking.
would have bombed so hard.
Your convictions.
I was thinking Johnny Depp might have been a good contender.
Oh
He
yeah.
would have been 2 times better than this shit.
That would
Yeah.
have been
He
better,
probably
yeah.
would have been really good. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Actually,
That's a good
I
one.
think I would see Johnny Depp more of a Lestat than
He was offered the role of Lestat, actually, and he turned it down.
Oh.
But I'm just thinking, like, early 90s Johnny Depp, he had those, like, very boyish looks, and I feel like he would have been better suited for a Louis than a Lestat, just
I agree.
in that respect, yeah. So, yeah, Louis is kind of like, he's at the end of his rope. He don't give no Fs, right? And it seems that he's kind of invited Lestat. So this is our first shot of Tom Cruise. Not gonna lie, when I first saw this movie in high school, I was like, Tom Cruise is a vampire. I understand what Anne Rice was
Kings
talking
need
about.
to be vampires too sometimes, Bex.
That's fair. That's fair.
This here is a visual representation of the film of Tom Cruise carrying Brad throughout the movie.
So Tom Cruise, or sorry, Lestat, he bites him, and this is kind of our first view of what the nightlife is like, right? So Lestat just kind of like dumps Louis after he bites him, and Louis just like, the heck is going on? So he's back on the beaches, and now he's really sick, right? Like he doesn't know what's going on. It's as though he has a fever, and Lestat visits him again, and he's telling him like he's having a conversation about how he's ready to kind of give him an opportunity that he never had, and offer him immortal life, offer him a life of beauty, a life free from pain. And Louise just kind of like, I don't want to feel this way anymore. So he kind of buys into it, right? Which is, again, ironic given that he was ready to kill himself for the rest of the movie. So, in Minecraft, sorry. Go ahead.
By the way, in the series that is recent, they actually do use the brother as a reason. So they actually
TV show?
incorporate that. Yeah. the
Yes,
TV
like
show.
from what because like Anne Rice, before she died, she reacquired her rights and she wanted to do the Vampire Lestat as a TV series. And I guess that's more or less what AMC adapted and showcased in 22. Yeah. So yeah, that's you told me that, and I remember that I'd heard other people say that, oh, it's a lot closer to the source material. So
I guess were the books as homoerotic as the show in this?
Yes.
Or is that kind of an added thing?
The show is definitely way more homoerotic, similar to the book.
So the book is
again-
like that, though.
Again, this movie also, you have to look at the time it was
Oh, yeah.
released. So
Mhm.
like, you kind of gotta scale that kind of stuff back.
I disagree with the homoerotic. Like I haven't seen the show, so I can't speak there. But I think this movie does a good job of it. Whereas Anne Rice's vampires aren't really sexual in any nature. They're just kind of like they've lived so long, they only have so many indulgences. So their way of loving each other and showing affection is very different from a human way. So from a human perspective, yeah, it would totally seem like they're doing butt stuff together. But really, this is just the only way that they are able to bond with each other when everything else is lost.
Yeah, they lack
I
any
can-
type of. Go ahead.
I can agree with that because again, you live so long. At some point, you have dabbled in so many different vices, so might as well.
Well,
stick
they're
with it
dabbling.
in, you know,
Right, because like even with his relationship with Claudia, as we'll see throughout the movie, like you could perceive that as an inappropriate romantic relationship if you really squinted and wanted to. But it's clear that it's just like this is their way of showing affection when they have so few other things. Whitey, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just basically agreeing that like they only have so many thrills, especially going all the way back to ones that are considered ancient. Like they only have so many thrills, and in fact, they apparently like the ancient vampires, they only drink blood for nothing but pleasure at that point because they don't even have to do it that much at that point. So, but you see the disillusion that they get over time.
Mm-hmm.
And that they want people as like links to different times because they just can't really kind of, I guess, move on from whenever they were turned and all that. So it's more just a human relationship and not necessarily them. Yeah, you gotta understand. Some of these people are kind of French. They're gonna look kind of gay. It's just it's just the nature of the beast. Yeah. So yeah.
So, in preparation for being turned, Louis decides to go see his last ever sunset, and we like throughout this film. For those that haven't seen it, you can hear a bit of monologuing. Right, it's an interview style, so you are getting a full voiceover. And he's like, "I couldn't remember any other sunset or sunrise before that one." And we get a nice. I love the sets for this movie. I can't believe this.
Yes.
To
Did look
Forrest
good.
Gump.
Yep.
I really can't believe it.
Well, I'm
Just
surprised
lost
anything
to
lost
Forrest
to Forrest
Gump.
Gump.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump's overrated. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yes,
for art
it is.
direction, this lost to Forrest Gump.
Wow.
Nah,
They had a massive hard on for that movie back when it came out.
retards.
So Louis also goes and visits the grave of his wife and daughter before he's turned, and here we have just kind of the final.
Suck zone.
Oh yeah, that's like oh my gosh, I wish I was ready for this. Oh my gosh, I don't. Okay, it's too late now. Yeah,
There'll be other opportunities.
Yeah,
plenty of them.
I mean, Canoli, I think you still have access, so you can.
I do. Next time, I got you. Next time, don't worry. I got you. I got you.
How he springs up on Louis too is like all right, well you're just you're kind of emo and depressed. I'm gonna suck this.
Suck me.
So he drains Louis and then he feeds him some blood. I mean, that's pretty canon to a lot of the vampire lore that we're all used to already. And then he drinks Lestat's blood, and he experiences like a little bit of a death. We see him like in turmoil on the ground here. Again, not his best performance. The effects here were pretty cool though.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Can I play for 94? Like this was pretty
good color blood. Not
Pardon?
too very good color blood. Not
Right here, yeah.
There is a couple of like brief and if you're really not paying attention, they could still be imperceptible.
what they did with the eyes starting here was great too.
Mhm.
Like
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how
Absolutely.
they did that, but it looked
With this,
fantastic.
the angel, yeah, that was good.
I went.
their damn souls. Well, technically they don't have their souls anymore, but yeah.
So he's describing like how he saw things with his vampire eyes, and there were literally no words to describe it, right? So Danielson is just very taken by this story now at this point because Louis is such a for where he lacks in acting, he makes up for in storytelling, right? So we get a little bit of background. I can't remember what he's saying here. There's so much dialogue.
He's basically saying, I suppose he goes like as Louis says, would you like another cigarette? And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, I suppose you don't have to worry about dying from cancer or anything. And then
Thank you.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, he goes into like garlic crosses, and then he asks about coffins, and then that's where we get the introduction of the coffin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they
There's
basically
very-
they do. It's a nice little bit of exposition that explains some of the rules of
What's
being
coming.
a vampire.
Right.
Yeah.
But in a way that like totally works. Like the exposition in that respect is really, really good.
Mhm.
I think, and that's to the benefit of like, oh, it's already an interview like movie, so it's you can accept those exposition dumps, right?
Mhm.
Especially because they usually like will follow it up with showing you something of
Mhm.
importance. It's not just like, oh, I'm going to say this and that's it, like they tend to do in a lot of modern film.
Mhm.
So Louis is now transformed, and he and Lestat are living at the plantation still, and he is just kind of like refusing to basically be a vampire. He doesn't want to drink blood. He's still clinging on to his humanity, right? And he's having just like this moral dilemma with it on top of it. And we see that they're feeding on, I don't know if this is a whore or a plantation chick. They're
I
one
think
and
she
the same.
worked there.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
They're
Is
all
there a
the same.
difference?
They're all the same.
Is-
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all the same, right?
Mhm.
So here they're just like they're having a nice little fake dinner, right? Louis is still refusing to drink, and Lestat's just kind of prodding him at this point. He's like, "Oh,
Mhm.
She comes in, and she's like, "Oh, are you not hungry, my lord?" And Lestat's just like, "Oh, he's starving. He could eat the whole plantation."
Funny.
So we get
I-
some
I-
close-ups. So go
I
ahead.
did get the feeling that Tom Cruise, like every scene, like even looking at his face, like it just felt like he was having fun. Like he was eating the shit up. Like
Oh yeah,
Literally.
He's embraced what he is. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, humans are his prey. He's the predator. He likes to play with his food a little bit. And by the way, if you don't know this slave girl here, that's Tandy Newton.
yeah.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, she and Brad Pitt dated briefly actually after meeting on the set of this movie.
Nice.
Mhm.
Reparations. But yeah, Tom Cruise. Seriously, like I guess especially after he had to basically convince. I know this is probably in the trivia, but the whole him having to convince Anne Rice that he was worthy of the role.
Mhm.
He was. You know how he is. He really gets into his movies, so I think he did it here too.
So because Louis is refusing to drink, he takes a rat and he empties the blood into this, and Louis is like, "Oh, like you can survive this way, like you can live." And he takes a drink of the rat blood, and he's like, "Oh, this is." He spits it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Lestat is just saying like, "Yeah, if you get caught in a pinch or something, it's useful." And Louis just kind of doesn't see this as like a means. Like he just kind of sees this as, "Oh, I can keep my humanity if
Yeah.
I just feed off of rats," right? I think. I'm on the fence about this movie because this is one of the few vampire films that does do a really good job of exploring humanity and vampires. There's not a whole lot of vampire media that does that in general. I don't know if you guys.
Usually it sucks.
Like obviously Near Dark did it to a certain degree.
Let the right
this
one in, maybe.
Let the right one in sort of does, although I think that's more of an I don't know if that's so much about embracing humanity. It's just kind of him being, the kid's kind of a young troubled future serial killer who eventually takes on a role that's kind of natural for him.
You got Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Like I know True Blood tried to do it with a few of its like secondary and tertiary characters, but it was always like they reframed it as like, oh, vampires just want to bone all the time, so you never actually get a full exploration. Whereas because this puts aside like they are obvious, they use sexual attraction to lure people, but it's not the basis of their character or their morals or like the dilemmas they face. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I mean, Louis' dilemma of not wanting to kill, like I said, like we were talking about during the Near Dark stream, they're the same in that respect. Neither one of them want to kill, but it's, granted, his character in Near Dark has, sustains himself on his girlfriend's blood while Louis is trying to find alternative methods like feeding on animals and whatnot.
yeah.
And this book was 1975, so.
Yep. That's okay. Good point. So Louis is just kind of like saying about what Lestat's killing habits were, right? And he'd like to start off the night usually with like something a little, was it young or something like that? Then he'd like to move into something more decadent. He'd like to feed off of aristocrats.
Mhm.
So, and that's kind of like an effect of his upbringing in French royal society, right?
Mhm.
So they go to this party and they're eyeing this old woman who, allegedly had her, really femme lover over here on the left with the lipstick and eyeshadow,
Mhm.
kill her husband as well. So they split up, right? Louis takes the grandma with the poodles, and Lestat takes the little queer, right? So,
I mean, she's not wrong. She's
No.
not-
She's
No,
not.
she's definitely
Like,
not
she's
wrong.
not
The
wrong.
second that he's on screen, you're like, "Gay boy."
yeah.
Would you like to touch my powdered wig?
But this is also just like this is how the French like to do things, right? Back in this time, so it's historically accurate to an extent.
And also,
so-
he has him
I just want to
enthralled.
know where Tom Cruise's French accent would be.
Yeah.
That's why I think Sam reads a better Lestat. He actually
Semantics.
French accent.
His accent was doing its own stunts at the time, so come on.
Nice.
Good one, Wayne.
So this Louis just he's a little bit delirious at this point because he's not feeding properly and he's still refusing to embrace his full nature. So he starts kind of seducing this old woman. She's like, I could be your grandmother.
That look on the poo's face.
What are you
Good.
eating, woman?
Why is that guy smooching on that old hag?
Right.
I'm gonna eat
And the animals are picking up on it. They're barking, right? Meanwhile, Lestat has drained the
Gay boy.
pussy boy over here. Yeah. And he's hearing some screaming because he has drained the old woman's poodles in the meantime.
Oh,
And so the woman is screaming
That
while
sounds
he's
like a euphemism.
Right. Dude, I drained her poodles like crazy.
So Louis gets really upset about it because Lestat didn't even feed off the old woman. He just snapped her neck and that's that. So he's just like, what, why have you done this to me? What have you made me into? He's still struggling to reconcile these differences, right? So he's just he's feeding on birds and everything, right? And Lestat's just like, you being a fagola, bro. Just drink some blood.
cola.
So okay, now this might sound absolutely horrible, but okay, given that Louis was a plantation owner, and given what plantation owners thought of slaves, would he really have a moral dilemma about killing slaves and drinking their blood?
I think maybe
they
it
kinda
plays
saw
into
them
his.
as they didn't really see black people as on their level.
Well, he's so human though. It's almost on brand, right? Like this guy doesn't want to kill. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. Like he seems like he's just this very kind of holy-esque guy.
I
I
don't
could
want
see
to
him
kill.
maybe
I
not.
you just pick my cotton. It's fine.
Right.
Exactly.
He's just like, you're just here to work,
Yeah.
you know? I'm giving you a place to live.
Yeah. I don't see
Fair.
the problem, Gord.
So, because Lestat is still feeding and everything, and he is a bit of a greedier vampire, right? The locals have picked up on it, and they're doing all this hoodoo voodoo in hopes of warding off the evil spirits, right?
He clearly got them from Haiti.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And they're just kind of discussing that. They're noticing that, hey, the locals are starting to notice things. I can't remember, why is he upset here?
Because he's is this where he comes into burn? No, he burns it down after us, but he's
He's
he's pissed off because of all the noise. It aggravates him.
It's just annoying.
Yeah.
He wants to get out of that where they live, right? Didn't he say that a bunch of times?
Yes.
He's not doing his part to hold up the charade, and already he's wormed his way. They're getting close to 70 years living together before all the shit hit the fan. So he's not doing really well at keeping up with the charade and all that, and he's not wanting to join in. He's not wanting to do anything, and he's messing up their whole living situation. And he gets really pissed off at him here in just a minute because he says, "Yeah, you're ruining this for us." So he's already attached himself, to Louis.
Dude, this chick wanted to fucking jump on him.
Sorry, Blaine, were you going to say something there?
Sorry.
No, I'm good.
Okay. So finally, again, Louis still isn't drinking, right? And this housekeeper comes up and she's like, I'm really worried about, things aren't the same. You don't eat, what's going on? And
You haven't eaten me in weeks. I'm sorry, wrong movie.
in his delirium, he accidentally drains her, right? But he uses this as a facade. He's like, the devil is in this place. You guys need to flee. And he's just kind of fed up, right? He doesn't want to live like this anymore. he's pretty miserable, so he burns down his entire plantation here, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
And we see
Yeah.
burning the nice photos and everything.
Burning down the house.
Ooh.
They
Now-
don't really know what to do because he just, he went out there. He's holding their dead body, and so. But he is their master, but also he gives the body back, and then he frees them, and they're like, "Well, shit, we don't know what to do now. We're just gonna have burn this shit down, dude." You're sending out a lot of weird messages, sir.
Stop it.
So Lestat's pretty upset about all of this, so they go and take refuge in a coffin, right? And he's just like, "Is this what you wanted, Louis? Like, are you happy now? Is there worse than this? Like, you should be dead," kind of deal, right? So now we just kind of get more of their exploits now that they don't have a home. So they're traveling around a little bit, and we can see like Lestat is, Louis in the background there on the balcony, but Lestat's just having the time of his life, like swaying hookers and stuff like that.
Helen McCrory of all people, who wasn't actually, he sadly passed away recently, but she's been in movies like Harry Potter. She's married to Damian Lewis, I think's his name, the guy from Band of Brothers.
Oh yeah.
Well, he keeps on finding Louis always in these like bad situations. Like Louis is destroying his life because in the book his brother, and then in the movie his wife's dead. So he goes and takes him during that time. And then whenever he's down there in the crypt, at, just sulking again like a big old emo chicken, he's like, "Come on, let's go to New Orleans. I get you some blood, man. It'll be better there." And he does again. So you're going to see that pattern over and over until later on.
Yeah, like an abusive relationship almost.
Yeah,
almost.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just like they're just he's there's the dead one. But yeah, he bites that other hooker on the boobie, which I mean, ladies.
Hot.
Would or wouldn't. Someone start a poll. Canoli, start a poll, please.
Yeah, she definitely seems to like it until she notices the blood.
Right.
She's a bit of a freak.
That's the weird thing about all of them is they all seem like every time they get bit, it gets like really erotic and they don't feel the pain, but they never really explain that. I'm like, I feel like there's some kind of numbing thing in their teeth or something.
Yeah, it's an anticoagulant little bite mark, but it is supposed to be part of their powers that even new vampires get. So it's basically just to make it not as horrific when you're writing this down, I guess. Like, oh, he just freaking bit me. He bit me again.
Charlie bit me.
Charlie. Oh God. Now we know.
Same, Nadia. Same.
Right.
So Lestat is kind of he's bitten this chick and she's clearly bleeding to death given all the blood that's coming out of her nipple right now. And Lestat's just like, "Listen, just kill her. Like, you won't drink her blood. Kill her, or she's going to become a vampire." And he's kind of playing with his food at the same time, right? He's not being totally serious. He's being a little playful. So
I honestly think this part and the one later where he goes after him and Claudia are probably his two best acting bits in the movie. I really like this part a lot.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah. So again, he's just like, he's it's just like, "Oh dear, it's a coffin. It's your coffin," right? Because again, Louis is refusing to take any action. So he lets her out and he's just like, "Oh, my friend is a priest. He'll give you blessings. Don't worry." And Louis is just like, "Bro, like what are you doing? Don't make me do this, please." Because he's again still not drinking any human blood. So he's quite weak. And then finally Lestat just kind of does it for himself and just puts the broad out of her misery, right?
Yeah.
And then this in the background, we're hearing like, this is what Louis is pretty disappointed because like, this is all I have to learn from. There has to be something more than this, because this is basically all his life is reduced down to, just killing pointlessly. Things are a mess. It's in an array. Lestat clearly isn't leading him to do anything or even attempting to understand him as his maker.
I mean, Lestat wants him to be a vampire, and Louis is wanting to keep to being a human, and there's just that push and pull where Lestat's like, "You need to understand you're not a human being anymore, so let that go," and he just refuses to, and he seems to understand. It's like, I'm going to be living for a really long time. There has to be some kind of meaning to my life besides just hunting and killing.
Right. Like he asked him, "Who made you?" And that's the moment where he's like, "I don't know. She was crazy." It just kind of happened, dude.
So Louis since he's really upset, he goes and wanders, and there's a plague in the area at this time, and he finds little Claudia, right? And she's with her dead mother. and she's like, please help us, like my mother's sick or something. And Louis just kind of embraces her, and without really thinking, he bites her, and that's what's happening here. And Lestat walks in and he's like, bro, you don't want to kill anyone, and here you are killing a little girl. What the hell?
No rats.
Him dancing with the mother's corpse is
Oh,
messed
yeah.
up, but really fun, and suspects
Yeah.
he killed him. And that's the bigger crime. The child one, they seem a little bit, like, that's a faux pas, but it's not necessarily all that big a deal. They more go after her because they think they killed Lestat.
And also, well, in the book, doesn't Lestat plead on behalf of Louis later when he's locked up?
No
in the
idea.
book, Lestat and Armand knew each other, and he
Yeah.
was kind of in the vicinity when that was all going down, but I can't remember exactly if he pleads Louis' case.
Well, I will tell you he does in the show, and I hate to keep bringing the show up because it's so much closer to the book, but that is played out more so in the show.
How many seasons did the show go?
2 now.
Okay. So it's still going. Oh,
And I
okay.
believe they are renewed for season 3.
Yeah, they have. Yeah. So they turn Claudia, right, and now they're just kind of like living as this like little gay family, right? And this is where this is why people see this as a link to like it's pro LGBT and everything,
The
because you have
modern democratic families. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, plus earlier you called their house an abode. You're not helping the vampires at all, huh?
No, not at all.
So we just kind of get like a little run through of what their life is with Claudia. So like for Louis, it's like this is a chance to kind of retain some of his humanity. Again, he was a father before he was turned as well. But Claudia also leans heavily into Lestat's ways. She's very cunning. She's very clever. She knows how to use her abilities to her advantage, right? And she's a near perfect vampire. She feeds willingly. She doesn't put up any fuss whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah, in many ways, like one of the things I think this movie gets right about children in particular is children have to be taught. Like everyone thinks like children are completely innocent. I'm like, well, they are in terms of they haven't done anything necessarily wrong, but you don't have to teach them to do wrong. It's like they'll do that on their own because you have to learn self-control. You have to learn what's good and bad. And she is such a willing killer because there's just no filter. She's just, I have this desire for blood. Give me some freaking blood.
Yep.
And he even tells it, and it's especially potent for her because, Lestat even says it's best at the beginning. The blood is at its peak at the very beginning. So it's like, oh, well, then for someone who has no filter about the right and wrongness of killing, yeah, she's arguable. You could even argue that she could be a more effective killer if she lived hundreds of years than any of them.
For real, this blood is peak.
It's wild to me how much the quality of the movie and kind of the pace and everything jumps up when she shows up.
Agreed.
Like,
it gets better.
it's just like her acting's so good and it adds this totally different dynamic that wasn't there before. I mean, with Louis being such a sad sack.
So you might want to scroll forward a decent bit because this is the first shot of full frontal nudity.
Yeah.
God, right after this.
In about 2 seconds.
I agree with you, Blaine. Also, the fact that she not only starts off as a child, but she acts also because she's aging too. So she is supposed to, in a sense, be a woman by the time we get to almost the third act of this movie.
Right.
And they don't explain that well.
I think at this point of the movie, right where we're at, she's probably in her teens. And then right after this, he says 30 years pass. Actually, no, it might actually be about here that 30 years have passed because I'm pretty sure the same woman is the one that she leaves rotting in her bed.
Because Tom Cruise is talking about how things have changed so much, and
he's like they're searching the streets for someone to eat, and Lestat's going on about how he wishes he still had Creole blood to drink, and Claudia sees 30 years have passed, and Claudia sees this Creole woman kind of bathing naked through a window, and it's kind of just like, oh, I'm never going to grow up, like I want to be that way at one point, and she doesn't fully understand that she will never be like that still after 30 years sort of deal. So there's a little resentment that grows in her here, but Louis is the more comforting one, so she learns to kind of like lean into his affection.
Well, he's the mother between the two of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Lestat comes in and he gives her a doll. She's like, hey, you give me a doll on the same night every year. Like, why is that? and he just kind of brushes it off. He tries not to dwell on it too much. And he's like, you have all these old dolls, like you should get rid of some of them, right? Just like a little passive aggressive for her, just kind
Yeah.
of pointing this one thing. And she has a total tantrum here where she starts ripping the dolls off of her bed, and there's a dead body under. I won't show that because there's booby on that dead body. Yeah.
Decaying boobies.
Right. And she's just like, why? Like, who did this to me? Like, which one of you made me this way? I'm gonna be a kid forever. I'm never gonna change. Like, why would you do this? Like, who took me from my mother, sort of deal. And she blames Lestat because he's clearly the more controlling of the two. And there's a great effect here, actually. I think that's one of the CGI bloodshots you were talking about, Gord, right?
Yeah. This one, like I said, I think if you're not paying too much attention, it's fairly imperceptible. But when you have a pretty good high def TV and you're just sort of used to paying close attention, it's hard not to notice.
I wish that they would have left they would have been able just to leave the blood that had actually ran out, and she can heal the cuts.
Right.
So she's talking about, like, we need to leave him. Like, we need to separate from this dude. Like, I'm over his poopy behavior and whatnot.
Well, here at first though, he's telling her his role in her transformation, and he gets mad at him because he's like, "Oh, you actually kind of started this whole thing," but because of her love for him, here right after, she says like, "I can't stay mad at you. We need to get away from Lestat, all that stuff."
Yeah.
I wish she did use the poopy behavior line though.
That would have been great.
Especially knowing she's like in her 30s at this point.
Yeah. So yeah, she's explained. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Nadia.
Can you think you're given immortality at the age of what, 10, 11 at this point, maybe 12?
12. She's aged up to 12 for this movie.
12, and then the fact that you're
stuck.
You're stuck. Your mind grows, but that would drive somebody insane.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And she's got superhuman strength, compared to her size and stuff like that. She has probably some form of the dark gift, and stuck at that.
It's explored in Let the Right One In's book, not the movies, of more of a how do I say this YouTube friendly, where the child vampire, who's also aged quite a bit, so it's an adult mind, has a male handler who's into it because it's a child.
That's the part of the book where I stopped reading.
Yeah, I read the whole thing.
Wow.
I have it.
I was like, that's a bit, because I was like,
no.
yeah. But I mean, at that point, never mind. I'm not gonna continue.
They went on to write anime fan fiction after that. I'm just
Since
saying.
we're talking about map relationships, so Claudia goes to Lestat, who's like pretty upset about that tantrum she threw and how she's been a little disconnected. And she goes and she's like, Lestat, let's go back to the way things were. I don't want to fight with you anymore. I brought you a gift. And because remember, Lestat likes the delicacies and whatnot. So she brings in these two identical twins, and they're very fair looking boys with the curls and everything. And she's like, I gave them brandy wine. And they're drunk. They're totally out, right? And he's like, oh, Claudia, you've outdone yourself, child. Thank you. Right? So it's just like, are we? And he's about to take a bite. He's like, are we forgiven? She's like, yeah. So he did absinthe, because I guess like different alcohols can affect the blood in this film.
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh no, I actually gave them laudanum, but I gave them too much, so they died. And one of the things that
keeps the blood warm.
Yeah. One of the things that was introduced earlier in the film was that you're not supposed to drink dead blood as a vampire. You stop when they die or right before they die. And here we kind of see the full effect of what happens. So he's very weak. He's struggling to move around, and Claudia takes the about drugged on top of drinking dead blood.
Yeah, getting all pissed. He's like, oh, that was something from Lord of the Rings, brandy wine. Oh, doodly doo. And then, he drinks that. He's like, that's exactly the quote from, that's book accurate, actually. He said doodly doo.
Doodly doo.
Doodly doo, guys.
And confirm. So they don't know what to do with the body, right? So they decide, let's just go dump him in the swamp, because they're still in the south, right? And she's like, he deserves to be with those reptiles kind of deal. And Louis, instead, he's feeling really guilty because not only did he wasn't in on this plan whatsoever, but it's just like Lestat he'd given him a new life. He tried his best as a maker. And again, he still has that human part of him, right? So even though it is someone who's been very bad to others around him and killed a lot of innocent people, it's the fact that he's now responsible for a life and for Claudia's actions, right?
Yeah, and like he says, he's all I ever knew.
Is that Australian dollars?
Just real quick, Niat, my boy from Film Comics, explained with the beautiful Australian $10. You're beautiful.
Kangaroos.
Beautiful.
10 kangaroos.
Kangaroos.
Who wants to read this in an Australian accent? Who could do a good Australian accent?
I bet Blaine.
Boy, can't stay long.
Blaine,
Wanted
Blaine.
to stop by and send some love. No, Elmo.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe a little. LOL.
All right, Niat. Since we didn't do this before, you get this one, buddy.
The suck zone. It's the point, basically, at which the twister sucks you up. The suck zone.
Is that Whitey?
I made the clip. You can't blame me for that. You can't.
By the way, I'm sorry, Vex. I had to. So, Ransom is asking when Whitey will sing. Somebody may or may not have left a challenge on the YouTube side that if we hit a $10 super chat in the beginning of the show, that Whitey had to sing "You Spin Me Right Round."
Oh, okay, Whitey, take the floor.
So Whitey,
You spin me what round?
You can, yeah, you can do that. You can change the Whitey, you don't want to disappoint the fans or the chat. I'm sorry. So, yeah.
Hold on. Hold on. Here we go. Oh yeah. You spin me right round, baby. Right round.
That's not really singing. That's just reading words.
He's rapping. He's rapping. That counts.
It counts, motherfucker. So
that counts. Thank you, Whitey. Beautiful job, buddy. Sorry, I had to do that. I appreciate that.
I'm glad that he had the dusty thing up when you spin me right.
Thank you.
A nice little Easter egg.
We might have one of those every week for every pound.
What are you doing, Bex?
I fucked up. Hold on. There we go. Okay.
Oh, the first time she ran this is it rocked.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're good.
I'm a little nervous. Okay, I'm sorry.
Why are you nervous?
I don't know.
Why are you nervous?
Whitey singing does things to the ladies.
It does.
Your female audience just increased by 0.5%.
Wow.
Yeah, but the mops will need the mops.
Wow.
So, following Lestat's
Wow.
death, right? They're just like, okay, finally we can have a new start. So they're planning to go overseas to Europe, right? So everything's getting packed up. And they have these canaries, and it's just a little bit of like overt imagery or symbolism, right? Like, oh, we should let them free. And Claudia's like, sure, I'll go do that. And meanwhile, there's a knock downstairs, and they think that that's the carriage. So Louis opens the door. Nobody's there. And this gangly hand just kind of like reaches out at him. And he's just like, he's here to kind of exact some revenge, right? So he's here for Claudia, not so much Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And in a fit trying to defend Louis, he throws a lamp at Lestat, and they straight up flee. Yeah. They're out of there, and the fire begins to spread. And I think this is meant to reference some big historical thing, because I do remember there's like a big fire that happened in New Orleans.
Yeah, this often gets referenced in vampire movies. The city sometimes changes. Near Dark did this also. They said, remember that fire we started in Chicago? Here it's New Orleans. But yeah, they do this a lot in vampire movies.
It's the Great New Orleans Fire.
There you go. Is it actually, or are you just making that shit up?
No, it was, swear to God. It's called the Great New Orleans. I think it was 1788 it happened in real life. So I don't know.
Okay, so the timing is a little bit off.
This is also the second time he's set a whole lot of shit on fire.
Yeah.
Like, Louis can't stop making fire happen.
Yeah.
Problem. Better set it on fire.
So he's talking about how they... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nadia.
No, I just... Nothing.
No, please go ahead.
All I said was kill it with fire. That's it.
Yeah, there we go.
You just lost the momentum on that one. Thanks, Vex.
You're welcome. Good friends embarrass
Yes.
each other. So,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
so they're talking about how they were on this boat and there mysteriously was a disease that killed everyone but Claudia and Louis. And then they finally arrive to Europe and they decide to just kind of like they go on this journey, this quest to try and find other vampires, right? Because Louis is now stuck on like, well, Lestat tried to teach me one way to live or one view of the world, but surely there is someone else out there that I can learn from who might have the answers to all of this, that there might be more than just, killing and hunting and becoming a creature of the night, sort of, right? So, look, they're very happy, look at in their aristocratic wear and whatnot. And they just kind of embrace life. They're in France right now.
He looks super fly with that fur coat. Like
Right?
that scene when he first gets out of the
Agreed.
carriage, I'm like, I would rock that. That is a look that I would I could vibe with.
Oh yeah. So and now Louise just kind of like narrating over this is like, just as I had given up a search for vampires, one had come and found me. So here is where we encounter, I can't remember what Stephen Ria's character name was.
Salvio or what? It's something
Some Guinea, I don't know.
Italian sounding
Some
or whatever.
Italian bastard.
Some freaking Guinea name.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a very playful
Santiago.
Yeah.
Okay. Right? I'm out in public. Like, this is
Yeah.
perverse, right?
Wait, all right, this is where you want to stop.
Yeah, this is where else.
It's like,
So-
whoa, it really took you to the brink there.
Oh yeah.
It ain't my fucking channel. I don't care.
So there is the girl is kind of scared, and again they're talking about life and death and being eternally beautiful and all this, and Armand comes onto the stage, right? And he sort of embraces her and like calms her for a moment. And he's almost relieved that she takes advantage of it, but it almost feels like he hypnotizes her. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost like
Yeah.
it's almost like he's playing into the act, like death could possibly seduce somebody into just being fully at peace with it or something. Because she literally, like, she even at a point like gets a little small smile on her face. The symbolism is kind of obvious. I mean, she's fully exposed before all these people, and he's trying to comfort her, and literally she lays her own head back kind of willingly. So my guess is, he kind of hypnotized her.
Oh,
That might be
the
his power.
The set designs in this is just so
Unbelievable.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it looks great.
Plus, the older the vampire, the more out of 6 powers that they can have, according to Anne Rice. So, like, you see at one point, Lestat was flying. You know, and that's only comes when to like some of the most old vampires apparently. So.
So Armand just shows them the crypt that he and all these vampires sort of live in, and he introduces this Timothy Chalamet looking boy as well that they feed off of.
What
Again,
the heck was the point of this kid? Like, that really threw me. Because I'm like, he's not a vampire. There's bite marks all over him. How is he not dead?
They're surviving off of him?
I thought the initial bite was supposed to put you in a state where you'll probably die.
I
and
think
then-
because
I don't
all
get
the
how that
other
works.
all the other bites that we've seen so far, they've all been to the brink of death. I don't think they're feeding off of this boy to the brink of death.
It's a sampler
And
platter.
And the older the
Appetizer.
vampire, the more likely they're able to understand when to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because apparently they cannot, after the heart stops, and if they keep on, well, obviously you saw what happened to Lestat.
Yeah. Because also we know that Lestat was like, he was made and then he was immediately abandoned. Feral way he learned to become a vampire is what he put onto Louis, but just Louis wasn't buying it. So he has this very interesting conversation with Armand, and Armand kind of reveals Armand, and he reveals here that he's the oldest vampire he knows living vampire he knows at 400. And he, like, in all his 400 years, he's never come across something that has definitively told him that there is a god or a devil, nothing about damnation of a soul, no greater kind of purpose to life. And this really upsets Louis because, like, suddenly just like, what is there left for me to live for? Almost, you can see him kind of battling that conundrum a little bit, right? At the same time, though, like, Armand kind of tells him in this conversation that he has grown pretty bored with life. Like, the vampires that he associates with day to day, they don't know anything. They don't think about anything. They don't contemplate anything more than just kind of tomfoolery and where they're going to get their next blood source. So in a way, they kind of they find something to look for in each other. Like Louis finally has an older vampire that actually can guide him and offer him something. And Armand is taken out of this funk and meets another immortal that actually has something more to offer than just kind of like feral basic behavior.
The appeal of Louis is because he's maintained his humanity, it connects him with society. So he's able to adjust to the changing times better than just about any vampire. It's almost in a way his gift. And to me, this is kind of the movie's biggest missed opportunity, because we should have had these two things running side by side, these two themes. You have Louis trying to grasp onto his humanity, and then you have the other vampires, desiring to be with him because he can connect them to society. Because, Armand being 400 years old and being the oldest living vampire should tell you something. They're like, wow, so vampires, despite being immortal, all seem to die anyway. And, Armand says, I think a little later on, it's kind of, well, I think maybe this is in the book, that he kind of points out that time tends to be their killer anyway, because none of them can adjust to the times. And Louis offers that, he has that appeal about him. So that,
they don't say that so much.
So alluring. Yeah, and I'm like, that should have been the secondary theme of this movie regarding Louis and why, because it's kind of hard to otherwise discern why he's so desirable to these other vampires. And I think it's to me the thing that takes this movie down a few pegs, because him constantly struggling with his humanity it starts to tread water after a little while for 2 hours of runtime.
Yeah. So in the meantime, like Claudia, she sees that Armand has had like a bit of an influence on Louis, and she's like, please just like make a vampire for me. I'm not strong enough to, because you turned me as like a toddler. So I need someone else to make someone for me, and then you can go off and do what you want to do with Armand, right? But as they leave the crypt, it's alluded to that the vampires know what Claudia did to Lestat, and Louis picks up on
he reads Louis's mind directly. Yeah, Louis, it's as he's kind of narrating what he's thinking in that moment, and he says he starts thinking about how he wronged Lestat, and literally Stephen Ray, right as he's done narrating that, he goes, wronged him how? And that's when he tells him the one rule they have about killing their own kind.
Yeah. So clearly there's this this fear for Claudia now as well, because they live in like basically this little colony, right? So word, of course, is going to spread.
And also, and what Claudia probably, I don't know if she outright says she suspects this or if this is just kind of an implied danger, but Armand, given the fact that he kind of feels nothing, that should tell you it's like, because he desires to be with Louis, he probably orchestrated her death, like kind of got her out of the way. It's like he kind of offered it two ways. It's like, she needs to leave. Like it's kind of a warning. It's like, if you can get her out here, we can be together, but otherwise I'm gonna let them kill her. So he's kind of playing this dual game right there.
Yeah, no, I actually agree. And there's a shot too that's shown during that sequence that we're coming up on that kind of, I would say, proves what you're saying there, Gord. So Louis goes back to their quarters or whatever, and Claudia has this woman who was a doll maker at a shop. And it turns out this woman had lost a daughter that basically looks like Claudia. So Claudia is just like, please just turn this woman. And Louis kind of like, pushing back, like, you don't know what you're asking of me. Like, I've never done this before. I don't want to do this. I don't want to take a life. But again, it's just he can feel that there is starting to be a distance growing between them, because they no longer really want the same things, even though they deeply care for each other and love each other, right? So he decides to go ahead and turn the doll woman anyways. Hold on.
Well, it may not be so much that they don't want the same things. It's that, but he's just been kind of blatantly told that his want to possibly be with Armand as well, so he can learn. That can't happen with her there. It's like he would obviously prefer to keep her, but since she's in danger, otherwise it's like, well, can't happen.
Well, I agree with you there. I guess the way that I interpret it is that's like, because she's still very much like, she just wants to explore the world and learn, and she's content with being a killer, right? Being a vampire. But again, he is still trying to, even though he's now feeding on blood, he still has that humanity to him, right? And now he finally has someone that will give him answers. And Claudia isn't necessarily interested in that anymore, but there's like a duty to each other because they're bonded by love, because they've known each other for like the better part of a century at this point.
Oh.
That's just the way that I had interpreted it. Yeah. So they end up kidnapping Claudia and the new woman that they just turned, and they're just like, it's, you know, time for justice or something, little one, or just desserts, little one. They say like that.
This whole bit kind of sidelined me. Like like they did kind of tee it up a little bit that like he was kind of breaking the rules and whatever, but it almost felt like it came out of nowhere. It happened really fast.
Yeah, the moment they start to build it is pretty strong, you know, when he gives that warning, but you would expect it to be built up, like let the tension build a little bit, but it just suddenly happens. You're like, oh, you know, it's
well,
kind
and
of
it's like
jarring.
the one woman female vampire is kind of leading the charge, and you haven't really seen her hardly at all, and it's just like, for me, I was just like, what the hell is happening?
It's like, who the heck is this
chick?
chick?
And there's only like 20 minutes left in the movie. You're like, oh, okay.
Right.
They have to just finally get this to end somehow.
Right.
So they're just forcing, you know.
I was pretty surprised that they actually, you know, went ahead, I guess, you know, with the story and all that. But like, I don't know, it was, that scene was jarring, and you know how they came about it. But I don't know if when I was younger and I saw this, and you know, of course, I didn't even, you know, thought about the books. Just seeing that they would go ahead and kill off, you know, those characters right away, right before you even have, a time for the new lady to develop and, you know, into anything. Right. It was pretty like, it was, you know, jarring, but also like, you know, it's kind of like a jump scare. I really didn't expect it.
Yeah.
I feel like the last like 30 minutes of the movie, there's quite a bit of choppiness to how certain events take place that should have been allowed to breathe a little bit. Honestly, it's odd because as much as we bemoan certain, you know, tropes and, you know, things that Hollywood does with movies nowadays, one of the better things that could have benefited this movie is letting it go about 15 minutes longer, which I think would help.
Yeah.
Or making it into a two-parter because of how I think they were just trying to cram in so much of the book.
How big is the book?
Right under 400 pages.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a heifer.
Okay.
It's very detailed. Like
2 hour and a half movies could have really worked.
Yeah.
For sure.
Or TV show like the series, because the show is expanded on a lot of this stuff. Like
I know, but TV series back then would have sent this thing to hell.
For real.
Yeah, no, but like the scene with Claudia being burnt with her new companion is done, I think, better in the TV show than the movie.
One thing I don't think we've talked about also is the veins. So many veiny faces and necks in this movie that they kind of keep going, and it was an interesting aspect that I don't remember from the first time I watched it. But
we have more high definition video nowadays,
right?
4K,
right.
People hanging upside down before they have to do a scene.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, we got trivia on that. So yeah, the vampires from the circus or whatever capture them, and they bury Louis alive in a coffin because he technically hasn't done anything wrong, and they put Claudia and her companion to burn in the sun. And Armand is clearly aware of this. He hears them both screaming, but he lets it happen, and then he just kind of turns and he lets Louis out of his coffin, right? He's just like, I can't let you go, but I can't do anything for her, sort of deal. And
I kind of think he's a little bit more direct. Like, I think he probably approved of it. Like, maybe he was like, it doesn't necessarily have to happen, but if that's what they want to do, go for it.
Agreed.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Gord. He definitely had a hand in it, but it's again, they don't straightforward say it, so it's all up to interpret it. But it also happens so quickly.
Why did they go to the effort to brick him in if he was only going to be in there for like less than 24 hours?
No, they said eternity. They said you're going to be there. They basically said we're going to starve you to death. That should only take a few centuries. The intention was to punish him. This is kind of one of the issues. This is like one of the more overt issues with the movie is that's the dialogue. They say they're going to let him starve to death. But then when Armand takes him out, he's taken out in front of all of them, and there's no resistance to this. It's like, okay, that's weird.
It's only like a day that passes too, by the way. It's not immediately. It actually is a day.
Yeah,
which
it's overnight.
Is crazy. Yeah. So yeah, Armand frees him, and Louis just like he's pissed, so he decides to exact revenge. So he pops open all the barrels of wine and
He
he
does
sets
what he
fire.
does best and set shit on fire.
Yeah, seriously.
I think this is
Yeah.
actually I think this is actually petrol. I mean, if it's
So he kills everyone, and he just kind of dips out, and then the film just decides to do kind of like well, Armand saves him first. Hold on.
Mhm.
And I
he
can't.
just gives him kind of the Godfather 2, I knew it was you, you broke my heart thing.
Mhm.
Except he doesn't. He teases kissing him several times, but doesn't quite go through with it.
Gay.
So, the will they won't they gay part.
Gay.
So I think this is where Louis just. Oh yeah, here's the will they won't they. There you go, guys.
Gorb was like, please. No, I'm just kidding.
So,
Canoli, I know this was on your wish list.
Oh, you have no idea. I had I had the lotion ready.
I always saw it as Armand, which I think was by the stories kind of a gay boy, but he wanted Louis like so bad as that link and all that. And he's getting right up all on him and all that, and basically saying, "You'll never have me. You betrayed me. I know what you did." And I think it was actually supposed to be 1920 before him and Armand, finally split up, from being friends, because he found out that yes, he did have responsibility for what happened to Claudia.
Well, in the books, Lestat and Armand have a relationship, not a sexual relationship, but
They know each other.
They know each other for a very long time, and
they know each other, just not biblically.
Yeah, at some point, Armand had asked Lestat to run away with him, and Lestat refused. So to me, I look at it this is like his way of, in a sense, replacing Lestat with his own, like, vampire child.
Basically, like, to my understanding, from what I read a little bit about the book synopsis, is Armand is, aside from wanting kind of a link to the world, it's like he's kind of empty. He's lost a lot of purpose, and he's looking for somebody who can, link him to something he doesn't currently have. Lestat was that for a little while. I do think it's funny, by the way, the movies he picks almost all have sunrise in the title. But it's like, I think in the synopsis it says Lestat was in many ways stronger than him and even kind of disillusioned him to some, because I think they said Armand was like leading a satanic cult, and Lestat showed him how silly that was.
Yeah.
So there was that attraction there, and
it was a coven, and Lestat was basically proving to Armand that the coven's beliefs were outdated. So in a way to manipulate him. And again, Armand's like, okay, let's run away. Typically, like, let's run away. Very watered down description of it. And
he basically is like, Lestat probably could have brought him closer to that particular time period, like the Renaissance thinking age, whatnot. Or
look at Tom Cruise here.
Yeah.
Oh,
So just real quick, so it kind of like after the whole debacle with Armand and the vampires and whatnot, Louis just kind of travels around, and he eventually returns to New Orleans, right? He feels back at home, and one day he just kind of he catches the scent of death kind of deal, and he finds that Lestat is just kind of like harboring himself inside this old house kind of near a cemetery. And he's essentially just like a shell of his former self. So without Louis, without the companionship, he's just like, Lestat's just kind of like surviving. There's really not much.
He's still wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
He has the same problem that he has the problem that Armand, he kind of told him about. It's like a lot of vampires have difficulty changing with the times, and Lestat hasn't at all. So he's basically, what Tom Cruise would be if he left the Church of Scientology, just like a hobo hermit kind of thing.
Which is funny compared to the books, with the fact that books were outdated, that you have to move forward with the times, and like for him to not even move forward at this point.
Yeah.
The helicopter bit was weird for me, by the way. Just side note.
I was like, why is there a helicopter searching there?
It's
in New Orleans. There's a lot of drugs.
Yeah, there's a lot of crime in New Orleans.
We're looking for whoever's been killing all these rats.
What you doing in that house? Get out of there!
Yeah, it's just randomly helicopter like 10 feet outside the window, shining in directly into that window. I was like, hold on.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
Yeah, fair.
They do when Louis leaves the theater, they show like a police car like going on like the on the freeway above him. So it's like maybe that's what those events are connected, I guess.
Right.
But it's not a really good way of kind of showing what.
Yeah,
the heck
we're
is
being
going
very
on.
forgiving.
Yeah.
So Lestat begs Louis to just like stay and help him, and maybe I can rejoin the world. Like you can help me adapt, sort of deal. And Louis just like nah, B, and he dips out, and leaves him there.
Nah,
And
fam,
he
I've
says,
gone
like,
straight.
yeah, and he's just like, that's basically the last time I saw him. Like I've just been chilling ever since, right? So now we're back with Daniel San in the yeah. And I think he asked him here. Oh yeah. So now that Daniel San's heard the whole story, he's like, "Listen, I can be your connection to the real world. Like, turn me into a vampire." And Louis just like, "Oh shit! Like, I didn't want you to want to become a vampire. I'm telling you my story. It's a miserable existence."
Yeah, he's like, my Vigga, you haven't been paying attention.
Right.
Like, this is not a good life.
He shocks him for a moment and like lifts him up in the air, and then he just kind of like disappears. And he's so scared that he just dips out. He rushes to his car and he starts driving, and he's
I do think his line there is like, "Do you like being food for the immortals?" is probably the worst line in the movie. It's awkward sounding. It's like I'd never liked that line.
I did not understand that.
It's like, "Do you like being food for the immortals?" I'm like, okay,
but
calm
his
down.
booming voice.
Yeah, you could have just said, "Do you like being food?" I actually think that would be that. It's just that line, "Immortals," it's a little on the nose.
Mm-hmm. So it turns out that Lestat has kind of been following Louis this whole time, and he decides to go after Daniel San here, right? Bites him and takes the car over, which curious how he knows how to drive a car since he's
Lestat, baby. He knows how to do everything.
I genuinely do not like the way this movie ends at all, because we don't really. Because when he says, "I don't know what happened to Lestat after that," I'm like, okay, so this has been a little while since that last meeting. So what has just Lestat been randomly just following him around everywhere? And then he's like, "I think he's going to. This guy's going to get in that car, and I'll just fight." I'm like, it's a stupid ending. I don't like it.
I thought he just took the opportunity. I thought, if he's following, well, screw Louis. I'll just take this dude, and
it's like that's the kind of thing that more time could have maybe helped the moment.
Yeah,
it happens so randomly that you're just like, oh, so wait.
At least it ends with a really good version of a song going.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
I hate to continuously be a simp for the TV show, but it's done way better with how Lestat kind of keeps up with the times and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's more room with a TV show, right?
But, yeah, absolutely.
And it also it's somewhat of a retelling of the story, but at the same time it picks up right where this movie ends. So Daniel is actually an older version of himself, and the events of this movie do take place in that world. So it's very interesting how they kind of tie everything together.
Interesting. I didn't know that about the show. That's pretty awesome.
Who's the interviewer then?
Daniel. He's the interviewer.
Oh, he's an
older, like an elderly man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
All right. I do have trivia for this
sweet
for this film as well. I liked the trivia for this movie quite a bit. Canoli, you'll be pleasantly surprised too with some of the names that come up. All right. So this movie had a budget of $60 million. It had an almost even split between domestic and international, and it took home just over $223.6 million.
Wow.
Big movie.
Released on November 11th, so we're right on the 20th anniversary today.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It debuted at number 1 domestically, and it grossed $36.4 million on its opening weekend, which at the time was the most for any R-rated film and had surpassed Lethal Weapon 3 in 92. But this record was broken with the release of Air Force One in 1997, which grossed $37.1 million.
Get off my plane.
I mean, shoot, back in the mid 90s, I mean, 36, that's a lot,
right.
a lot of money.
I'll add Air Force One to the list. Give me one.
You're not missing money.
Nice.
No, it's a
I'm
good
surprised you haven't seen that. All right.
Get off our stream.
Get off our stream.
It only stayed at number 1 for 1 week, though, and will drop to number 2 with the release of Star Trek Next Generation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
This film did surpass Bram Stoker's Dracula in 92 as the highest grossing vampire film, and it held that record for a decade until Van Helsing came out in 2004. Regardless of that, though, this remains the highest-grossing R-rated vampire film in cinematic history.
No kidding.
Wow.
I'm not
Nice.
surprised.
Bram Stoker's Dracula was probably more profitable though, because these two are pretty close box office wise, and Bram Stoker's Dracula cost 20 million less.
Yeah.
Dracula is sexier too. That's a sexier movie.
Yeah, especially with the boob head. Oh,
You
yeah.
talking about the boob head?
Yeah.
Boob head.
Oh,
We need Nosferatu, on Christmas to do better than all of them.
Oh, that's
Oh.
100% will. Oh, my
Yeah.
Oh, my
God.
God.
Oh, my
I
God.
cannot wait to buy tickets for it.
Me
Yeah.
neither, Nadia. Me neither.
My body's ready.
Oh.
literally in the chat.
My body's ready.
I tried to
It
tell
is.
Chris, I'm like, it's a sexy movie. It's gonna make everybody very horny. And he's like, what?
It's gonna be the fastest redemption arc for an actor ever, going from that terrible Eric Draven to Nosferatu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Seriously.
Good point.
So this film was a subject of controversy due to inspiring a real-life crime shortly after the film's theatrical release. On November 17th, 1994, a man named Daniel Sterling and his girlfriend Lisa Stellwagen, I don't know, watched the film together. The next day, Sterling stabbed Stellwagen 7 times in her chest and back and sucked the blood from her wounds. Fortunately, she survived and Sterling was arrested. He claimed in court that the film influenced his plan, and the jury convicted him of attempted first-degree murder, among several other charges.
He had a plan.
Wait, yeah. Do you think by stabbing her would turn himself into a vampire?
No, he sucked her blood, but who knows, man, with these crazies, who knows?
Wow.
Yeah, like
I
Mortal Kombat.
What I
Definitely
wonder
voted
is
for
when he
Kamala.
says the movie influenced my plan, it's like, so what was your plan before you saw the movie?
Don't want to know.
Dude, it's like I almost got in trouble that one time I uppercutted a dude and knocked his head off, because I played Mortal Kombat. Like, just these movies are big influencers. You got to watch out. That's totally a legitimate fucking reason.
Whitey.
Sorry.
You're good. Due to not getting along during filming, Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt refused to work with each other ever again. However, in the 2010s, Cruise and Pitt had apparently set aside their differences and were willing to work with each other again when they were attached to an early version of Ford v Ferrari. During early development, director Michael Mann was initially attached, then left the project. Director Joseph Kosinski then stepped in. The film was titled Go Like Hell, and it would have had Cruise and Pitt portraying Carol Shelby and Ken Miles, respectively. They did a table reading together, but according to Kosinski in the Directors on Directing panel at Comic-Con in 2020, the project was ultimately scrapped because the project budget was too high.
I wonder,
Thank God we got the version we ended up getting, which is way freaking better than what they probably would have done.
Oh God, yeah.
I just
Ford v
wonder.
Ferrari is a modern classic, y'all.
I still need to watch it.
It's
on
so
my watch
freaking
list
good.
to check
It's
out.
so good.
I have no interest in cars. I have no interest in
You don't have to. It's great anyway.
No, I don't like movies like that.
It's like Moneyball. You don't have to like baseball.
I've never seen Moneyball.
Okay. I don't get how you even like horror movies. You don't even like being scared. The heck?
Because there's only certain things that scare me, Gord. Most of the genre doesn't.
But those poodles.
Poodles leave puddles.
Upon learning that Tom Cruise had been cast as Lestat, Anne Rice was livid and stated Cruise could not carry the part, calling the casting, quote, so bizarre it's almost impossible to imagine how it's going to work, quote, end quote, and, quote, the worst crime in the name of casting since the bonfire of vanities in 1990.
Oh, that was a shit
They
show.
should have called, instead of Queen of the Damned, the sequel should have been Interview 2 Cruise Control.
Rice recused herself from the production and did not view the film until a producer sent her a VHS copy. Rice was so impressed by Cruise's performance that she wrote him a letter of apology and recorded a 2-minute video endorsing the film that was included as a pre-feature on the mid-1990s VHS releases.
There we go.
Mission.
Sorry, I was racist. And
She told Brad Pitt, you sucked.
Yeah.
She was so pleased with this adaptation that she also took out a 2-page ad in both Vanity Fair and the New York Times endorsing it as a masterpiece. Now, she also was upset about the casting of Antonio Banderas as Armand. Rice
come on.
envisioned Armand as an ancient vampire with the appearance of a beautiful Russian adolescence. However, after she saw the film, as with 2 former
This
castings,
fucking bitch,
she
man.
praised Banderas' performance.
How about you
Yeah, I
watch
think
the
in the
movie
book he's like a
first?
17-year-old Ukrainian.
Yep, he's 17 years old. Yeah.
Zelensky.
Yeah, he goes around to other vampires, keeps asking for freaking money.
Money keeps taking their money for a war.
Gotta take them
and
Russian
Antonio.
vampires.
Antonio just went over to her house and he's like, "Hey, baby, I have
Play
weird
Zorro.
accent.
Just like that, Whitey.
I'll
Hey,
play with you.
baby.
Put some boots."
It's a baby.
It's funny. We were literally just talking about him in this issue with another movie where he plays. It was, I think, around the same time, and he plays a totally different race than the character that was even like what was in the movie.
13 Warrior.
Sweet.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. And I think that it was just like when he was the it guy, they were just putting him in whatever.
Putting him everywhere. Yeah.
Which, by the way, to me, is a great D&D movie.
Right. I
I love Bird Warrior.
Yep.
Yeah, no hate on it. It's just an interesting choice. Like,
Yeah.
It's just like he was clearly the it guy at the time for a lot of these movies, and whether it fit or not, they didn't care. They're just like, put Antonio in it. He's the dude.
All the good guy Arabs. If it was a bad guy Arab, they just get whatever off the street.
Wow.
But if they had to be a good guy Arab,
Wow.
it was Antonio and Banderas. Yep.
I see what you're saying.
All the actors playing the vampires were required to hang upside down for up to 30 minutes at a time during makeup. This would force all the blood in their bodies to rush to their heads, causing the blood vessels in their faces to bulge. The makeup artist would then trace over the swollen veins, creating the eerie, translucent skinned look. Unfortunately for the actors, they would have to repeat this process several times over, as the blood would quickly drain from their heads. This accounts for the lengthy makeup process, and Tom Cruise alone spent 3.5 hours every day on set in the makeup chair.
I'm not surprised.
That makes no fucking sense. To honestly, like, just draw some fucking veins on the guys and take pictures for continuity. That makes no sense.
She went the extra mile, Nadia. God.
I mean, I'll say this: they did look so good. I was really curious how they did it because multiple scenes, I'm like, are they like CG in these veins all the way back then? Like, what? How are they doing this?
94?
92.
Oh, 92.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Maybe alcohol pellets were out by then, I think. So probably that helps with making them look a little bit more translucent on the skin. But like, there's no point in them hanging upside down to get veins popping for them to draw veins on. Like, that makes sense.
Dude, it's like you should make a video over this. I don't know. You might have like work in that field or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It might
right?
be interesting.
You should call the video "Done in Vain."
Done in vain.
Dun, dun, dun.
I've been thinking about doing a top vampire movie video, but doing vampire makeup while I'm doing it. But we'll
Do it.
I like it.
In an EW interview in September 2011, Brad Pitt revealed that he had a miserable experience while making this film. He recalled the discomfort of the makeup process, colored contacts, and particularly filming in enclosed, dark indoor areas. He said at one point he called his friend and producer David Geffen and begged him for a way out. Learning that it would cost $40 million if he left, he toughed it out for the remaining months.
Oh yeah, I'm sure those contacts are full cap contacts. Back in '92, 100%. Which means they cap the entire eye, so they're like a cup that you slip over.
You can tell they look like that.
Nowadays, they'd be no cap.
Yeah, there'd be no cap. Yeah,
For real.
I'm sorry.
Tom Cruise was placed on elevated platforms during some of the scenes to reduce the height difference between him and other vampires, because Lestat is supposed to be 6 foot and he's like 5'7".
He's my height? Wow. Oh, well, no,
Yeah.
I'm taller than Tom Cruise. I'm 5'8".
Tom Cruise is
Tom's a little one.
He's a little boy.
I could take him.
Yep.
Tom Cruise wanted a private set, so tunnels were built to escort the actors to and from the set. This was done so that the vampires' makeup effects would remain a secret.
It's interesting.
All right.
I mean, listen, the pale skin, the veins, and the teeth. I get it. And I get it maybe even for a little bit more of the extreme effects, like when he's revealed after they burn him alive and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like they have prosthetics on the face like half the time. They're just pale with veins. So
it's good, but it's not that amazing, you know.
Yeah,
it doesn't
not hide it like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although the screen credits read screenplay by Anne Rice based on her novel, The script was actually heavily rewritten by director Neil Jordan. The Writers Guild rules meant that Rice got the credit, though.
Interesting.
Nice.
The estate of Louis Pointe de Lac in the beginning of the film was the historic Oak Alley Plantation located on the Mississippi River in Vacherie, Louisiana, which is near New Orleans. The plantation's guest book is on display and was signed by Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise during filming.
Interesting.
Their name is on a plantation. What?
Don't ask.
Due to Anne Rice's fear that her novel was not being adapted because Lestat and Louis could be perceived as homosexuals, she rewrote Louis as a woman. At one point, she considered Angelica Houston and Cher for the role. However, the character was eventually rewritten back to being a male.
It's gay.
As long as we don't get stuck with Cher, I'm all right with
Sorry.
It ain't gay. Okay, this is the Saltburn discussion all over again. It ain't
Oh, God.
gay.
It's so gay. All right.
It ain't gay.
Listen, all vampires are gay because they all dabble in things if you live that long. You all are gay. So
time is the ultimate thing when it comes to making people gay.
yes, when it comes to vampires, all right?
You smell like scabs.
I want to see a movie about the one super straight vampire. You know what I'm saying?
Twilight. There you go.
Blade?
Yeah.
Oh God.
There you
There-
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
there.
Twilight.
Just
Is
wait.
that
name
really
one
the
straight
best things?
vampire from Twilight.
Just wait.
Okay. Oh yeah, we're doing Twilight soon. Never mind.
Next
Okay.
week.
Oh,
now.
my God.
Next week.
Neil Jordan retained the final cut of this film.
Interesting.
Wow.
Wow.
I know
Wow.
it's very rare. Yeah. Kirsten Dunst said in an interview that everyone she knew at the time of filming said that she's so lucky she got to kiss Brad Pitt, referring to their brief kissing scene. The
Oh, my
young
God.
Dunst said that she thought it was disgusting.
I
Years
agree.
later, she said, quote, "Kissing Brad was so uncomfortable for me. I remember saying in interviews that I thought it was gross that Brad had cooties. I mean, I was 12, end quote. She said she did it out of her love for acting, but the experience put her off kissing any more men for a few years. The next person she locked lips with on screen happened at the age of 15. Brad Pitt himself also wasn't very comfortable with the kiss either because she was a child at the time.
Yeah, you would think.
And yet the MTV Movie Awards, I think, awarded it Best Kiss because they're freaking cool.
Are you serious?
What?
I'm dead serious.
Oh,
No
goodness.
way.
I remember back in those days, we used to watch those, and I remember them awarding that, and I'm thinking, this isn't okay, is it? That's not okay.
Oh,
Brad Pitt
wow.
still has cooties to this
I thought
day.
you were
She's
gonna
only
say-
she's only a little older than I am, and I remember seeing that, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's wrong.
It's pretty.
I am
nasty.
not finding any source to this claim, Gord. Give me
Fake
your
news.
feeling. Yeah, fake news right now.
Fake news. They're turning the kids gay. Anyway, find me the info, Gord.
I thought-
After he, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was gonna say I thought that you were gonna say that the next time that she kissed a man was Tobey Maguire
I
upside
thought so
down.
too.
Which won the Nickelodeon Best Kiss Award.
Right. Yeah. There you go.
After he was cast due to his star power, Tom Cruise received a $10 million salary and a percentage of the film's profits.
Wow.
I'm sure he just dumped into Scientology.
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Right.
For a brief time, Sam Raimi was considered for directing this film.
Bro, I would have watched that.
I don't
I
think
can get
that
on
would have
board.
worked with the source material as well, because Sam Raimi,
Oh, it would have been weird.
The campiness of his horror, I don't think it would have worked with it.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm intrigued by the idea either way, though.
Right.
I mean, I would
watch it.
love to see Sam Raimi do a vampire movie. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey, a woman known for procuring women for Weinstein, walked out of the premiere of this during the first reel because she was disgusted by the amount of blood in it.
Oh,
What?
God.
Get out of here.
She's
mind.
definitely on two different lists.
I was
That
gonna
will-
say, yeah. Never mind. Yeah, never mind. She's seen worse.
This film was shortlisted for the finalists for Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. The other finalists included The Lion King, Speed, The Hudsucker Proxy. I've never heard that film.
Really?
Ultimately, Forrest Gump, The Mask, and True Lies were chosen, and Forrest Gump won that year.
Trash.
Hudsucker Proxy, I'm pretty
It's a good
sure is
movie.
It's a Coen Brothers movie.
It's pretty good.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah, I've
true
never
story,
heard
too,
of
isn't
that.
it?
Is Speed worth checking out?
Oh, dude.
Absolutely.
my God.
I was just on a live stream this weekend talking about Speed. Speed's
yeah.
awesome. Speed's a
Jesus.
blast.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
going.
great.
Listen. I did Casino and Goodfellas last night. I'm going to go through
You're a very
all the
lucky
Lethal
woman.
Weapons because I haven't seen those,
Shut up, Gord. Shut up, Gord.
and then
down.
all
Have
of
it
the
held down.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Just the first two are good. But yeah, watch them all.
Yeah.
Speed is excellent. It's a great
Yeah.
action movie.
Don't
Oh,
watch
yeah.
the second one though. Just
No, the
stick
second
with
one's
the first
shit.
one.
No.
After the commercial and critical success of this movie, Neil Jordan began development on an adaptation of the novel sequel, The Vampire Lestat, which ultimately did not materialize. Almost a decade after this film, an adaptation for the third book of the series, The Queen of the Damned, was produced and distributed once again by Warner Brothers. Cruise and Pitt did not reprise their roles as Lestat and Louis. Many characters and important plot lines were written out of the film, which actually combined elements of The Vampire Lestat and Queen of the Damned. The film was negatively received by critics, and Rice dismissed it completely as she felt the filmmakers had mutilated her work.
Yep.
During
I agree.
pre-production, Rice had pleaded with the studio not to produce a film of the book just yet, since she believed her readers wanted the film based on The Vampire Lestat. Rice even went so far as to offer to write the screenplay herself, but the studio turned her down.
Yep, that movie, great soundtrack, shit movie.
Best soundtrack in cinema history.
Dude, it was a pretty good soundtrack. It was hitting, but and they had Aaliyah, and she was a freaking hottie at the time, and
he passed away during the filming of it too.
yeah, that's how bad the movie was. Totally killed her career.
Or because you knew somebody who's arrested right now because of his list.
Yep.
I found a
Jay-Z
little piece of
allegedly had
trivia
her
that
way.
I found a little piece of trivia. I'm not sure if you're going to bring it up. Do you have a piece of trivia regarding the Razzies?
No, go ahead.
Okay, this movie won worst screen couple, Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt.
That's pretty good.
But I'm guessing that we're maybe because I'm looking at the MTV Movie Awards. It might have been when she won best breakthrough performance that maybe the kissing thing came up. But I could have sworn they were up for best kiss. But guess not.
Fake news.
Fake news. Fake news. I do have casting trivia for this as well, because we haven't had casting trivia for a couple weeks now. Christian Slater was given the role of Daniel Malloy upon the death of River Phoenix, who was the original choice for the role. Slater donated his $250,000 salary to two of Phoenix's favorite charities.
Oh, that's good.
That's nice.
That's nice.
Two other actors were also considered for Daniel. The first being Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, God,
I get that.
I could see it.
I could see it, but yeah.
At the time, with the yeah.
He was very, very young. Very young.
I mean, Titanic was 3 years later, so.
He would have done, what was that Western, that Sam Raimi movie that we did a couple weeks ago?
Quick and the Dead.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
he was
love that movie.
dead at this time, so that'll work.
Just saw it for the first time this year. Love it.
Yeah, nice. The other choice was Steven Dorff.
Interesting.
Maybe.
He was very popular in the early 90s, so could have won.
I could see it. I could see it.
I could see it.
Why not Bill Paxton at this point?
Why is
Paxton would have been way too old for that role.
Yeah.
At this point?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think he was born in like 1958.
Yeah, I think he was in his mid to late 30s at this.
Yeah.
I feel like he never looks like he ages. So.
What was that vampire movie that we did the other day with Bill in it?
Near Dark.
Near Dark.
Yeah, so
I'm covering in 2 weeks on Pop Culture Minefield.
Oh, you'll love it.
Oh, I've seen it.
It's all
I love
right.
it.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's
fine.
You guys are hyping it up too much. Okay.
Wait, what movie? What movie?
Near Dark.
Near Dark.
Well, Nadia, she's seen it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually.
That's disappointing, but
No, it isn't. Nadia's right.
Wait. Say that again, Cord.
Nadia's right.
Thank you. Clip that something.
Now.
Whoa.
I like that while Gord said that, there's an image of Edward Norton and his
getting raped in the shower.
With a caption that says "Suck it."
Jamma, this is the one that I remember too. Best kiss for Tobey Maguire for Satan's Alley.
Yeah. Tropic Thunder.
And Rice recommended several other actors for the role of Lestat.
Go on.
John Malkovich.
Wow.
Oh no.
I actually if you look at the garb he wears, and I think it's Dangerous Liaisons, I think I could kind of see that. I mean, I have no idea whether that movie's good or not, but I've seen like a clip or two, and I'm like, I kind of get where they were going for there, but
you need the sex appeal.
Yeah,
He's more kind of like a gruff old man. He's looked like a gruff old man since he was like 20.
Yeah, like him and Eastwood in that movie. It's like, he already looked like he was, I don't know, 50 plus, no matter what. So.
In the Line of Fire.
Choices.
Yeah.
There's some shitty choices for Lestat that she recommended. Okay, the studio
Woman
wanted.
brain.
We'll get there. Peter Weller.
I don't know who that is.
I know
RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Oh.
No.
Nah.
I don't think he's a good enough actor for this role.
Nah, he's got a great voice, but dead or alive, you're gonna suck it. No.
You're sucking me.
All right. Who's that? Jeremy Irons.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could
But he's
see
too
him.
old.
Could have done it.
I love
He's too old at this point.
Yeah.
Was he too old in '94?
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah, he's up there.
Well, you remember him in Die Hard 3. When was Die Hard 3?
Yeah,
Why
he would
not
have been about
Nicolas
40.
Cage?
He would have been 46, I guess. So
Yeah.
I guess you could make that argument. About this, he'd have pretty much kind of the same look as he did in Die Hard 3, just with more Victorian hair.
Honestly, he might have worked for an aged up Armand. Better.
Perhaps, yeah. Or even you could have put him in a. I think he
that.
would have been a great vampire in general, but maybe someone other than Lestat.
Or may I add Robert Downey Jr.
No.
Nah, that was too. He had such a weird puffy face for a cokehead. He had a puffy face for back then.
I might argue that Robert Downey Jr. in the early '90s might have been a better choice for Louis.
Yeah,
he had that very youthful face. He had a very young Robert Downey Jr. He looked much younger in '94.
No, he doesn't. He's not vampire sexy, Robert Downey Jr. He couldn't pull it off.
Tell me Kevin Costner is on the list.
No, he's not, unfortunately, but he's sexy at any age. So, Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson?
No.
She's her own fucking drugs or something. She's out of her fucking mind.
Oh, there's still some good ones to come. Trust me. Okay.
Wasn't he too old at that point?
He would have been, in his mid to late 30s.
I don't see it.
I don't think he has the boyish sex appeal.
Hold on, Nadia. When you watch Lethal Weapon 1, oh boy, you're going to see a ton of Mel Gibson's sex appeal, butt and all included.
Oh, okay.
Just saying.
I mean, Gibson is undoubtedly a Chad in Lethal Weapon.
Oh, dude. Facts.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that Gary Busey was on this list. Imagine getting bit by him, Dave. Those teeth would take you out.
Gary Busey just bites people in his spare time.
Oh God.
Keep going.
We have Alexander Godunov, who is a Russian ballet dancer.
Oh, I know who he is. No.
You do?
Yeah,
you know a Russian ballet dancer? Tell us more.
He was in a few movies in the 80s. They were gay. That's why I watched them.
Gay. Gotcha.
He's in Die Hard. Okay, I know who he is.
Thank you. See?
Julian Sands was what was in mind for Rice and fans when she was adapting the screenplay. He's a British actor, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, Julian Sands is in movies. He was in like Arachnophobia. He's like the spider expert. He's a great actor. He could have played a vampire. I don't know about Lestat because I don't know if most women would swoon over him that way.
No, they would not.
Keanu Reeves? Is he on the list?
No, God, no.
No.
I have to bite.
One fair warning about the movie Speed is probably the biggest issue with Speed is Keanu is very hit and miss with his acting in that movie. It's kind of funny at times.
Worse
his look for Speed is great, but his acting at times is pretty laughable.
Worse than Dracula.
You're watching buses go off.
No. He's terrible throughout Dracula.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, God.
Anne Rice, hold on, met with Tom Hanks to take the part
What?
what?
No.
In Philadelphia,
No.
but Hanks
my
turned it down to do Forrest Gump.
Hmm.
Would have given everybody Jenny's AIDS.
I'm sorry about this,
Oh.
Louie.
I assume I need no introduction. Bite. It's like,
I know. This is where the studio really did a solid. But Daniel Day-Lewis was originally given the part of Lestat, but had to drop out weeks before filming started. Tom Cruise got the role only after Johnny Depp also turned it down.
I could see
okay,
Daniel
Daniel Lewis
Dude,
can
Daniel
literally play
Day-Lewis.
anything.
He can
Yeah.
play.
can
Yeah.
play the best living actor.
When I found out that he was actually just like one of the few roles he ever actively pursued was Vincent Vega in Pulp Fiction, and there's a part of me that wishes he would have gotten it, even though Travolta's perfect in that.
Yeah.
I kind of still would be like, I wish Daniel Day-Lewis would have gotten the part because
he could just
that's-
melt into any role. He is.
it just sounds so good.
unbelievable.
I think Daniel
Yeah.
Day-Lewis is the greatest actor of all time.
I could agree to that.
Oh, he is.
Mhm.
He's all right.
incredible.
Now, several actors auditioned for Claudia as well.
What the heck, White?
The beat. This could have been the whole family.
This was the family that Lestat and Claudia drank.
Laudanum? No, they're just retarded.
All right. So for Claudia, Christina Ricci.
How old was she in that year?
She would have been around 12 to 15. She would have been the right age.
Okay, I don't.
Maybe.
Meh.
Because I think she was like 19, 20 by the time Sleepy Hollow came out.
I think she would have been 14 when this came out. I mean, yeah, I guess because she would have been probably 12 when they filmed it. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
All right. Natalie Portman.
yeah, she could. Yeah, I mean, she could do it. I mean, she was a pretty solid actress even in her youth. I mean, she was great
Yeah.
in Leon.
Yeah, Leon came out this same year, didn't it? 94?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that.
Kat Graham, who's the hot black chick from Vampire Diaries.
Well, wouldn't she worked on the plantation in this movie then?
Wow.
I mean, seriously, I mean, they had a freaking plantation in the movie.
She would have been the girl Brad Pitt ate.
Oh no.
Maybe. Dominique Swain. This name sounds familiar.
Dominique.
Oh, she was the daughter in Face Off.
Oh,
Really?
God.
I have seen that movie. I have seen it.
Thank goodness.
Okay.
I don't honestly have no recollection of what she looked like as a
Oh,
kid.
yeah. Nah. I don't think so.
She's a basic blonde bitch. That's all you need to know, Gord.
And no.
Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Blonde bitch.
There's a reason we don't know your name now, Dominique.
Right. Exactly. Lily Sobieski.
Lily Sobieski.
Thank
Not really, because she's a very wooden actress even as an adult. And
Yeah.
Agreed.
given what we would have lost between her and what Kirsten Dunst did in this movie, no thanks.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay. Julia Stiles was actually the runner-up, but Neil Jordan thought she was too old.
She kind of does look older than she ever has been. I mean, I don't mean that in a mean way, because she's not unattractive or anything. I don't think she would have looked right for it. And again, Kirsten Dunst is a better actress.
Gotcha.
Right.
And finally, Evan Rachel Wood.
Yep. Yeah. I could see
I could kind of see that, yeah, because she plays crazy pretty well.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, agreed.
If you want to watch a movie where she's kind of, I mean, she's not huge, shouldn't have a huge part in this movie, but there's this really underrated movie called The Joneses. It's her, David Duchovny, and Demi Moore, and she plays kind of a crazy, like sex obsessed chick in that. She's a good actress. She could have done this.
You're dirty.
Yeah, you sick bastard.
You sick
That's all I have.
bastard.
Saying.
Yeah.
I'm really disappointed.
Oh. He was expecting
I hope-
Christopher Walken to pop in.
I was waiting,
I hope-
but
I hope
He
you
was
come,
holding out hope when you were talking about Claudia. It's like, maybe,
maybe.
I hope you
Go
come
ahead,
with pages upon pages for Twilight. I am so excited to talk about Twilight next week.
I am too.
It's
God.
such a
Everyone is.
bad movie and a bad book. I'm so don't you motherfuckers pull the same shit you did with
what?
fucking Velocipaster on me.
I can't
swear to
Velocipaster
God, I will
Twilight.
block.
I can't Velocipaster because I actually genuinely enjoy Velocipaster. Twilight is a freaking clown movie.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
There's
so
just no way around it.
So
To be honest, we could Velocipaster Twilight. I'm just saying, maybe we'll talk behind the scenes.
maybe maybe pull it straight.
I don't think I could do it.
All right, so let's go around. Let's give our final thoughts on this film and a rating, if you could. Blaine, we'll start with you, sir.
Starting with me. Okay, so I've been thinking on that. Critical scale wise, I'm thinking somewhere in the like rad territory. I really don't know exactly where I'd put this still. I was kind of thinking about it while I was watching it, and it doesn't like blow me away still. I think maybe like a 69, 70, something like that. Like I think it's still a solid film, great sets. Like, love Tom Cruise in it. There's some things that I definitely like a good bit about this movie, but also, this picture still. Sorry. But yeah. I don't know. It's not the best thing ever, but also it's not a bad movie. I'd say rad, critical wise, like a 69.
Oh,
Okay. Oh, nice. Nadia.
I know what White Bear's gonna do. Damn it.
I'm waiting for it. That's why I'm just
I
leaving him
know.
up. There you go.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's better.
oh. Stop.
That's better. Okay.
Whoops.
Oh, fucking A. I'm so stoned in that photo.
You're so stoned. Your name isn't even right, dude.
Lydia.
No,
Lydia.
I don't look as pale as I usually am. I kind of like it. I'm not as pale. All right. I really love this movie. I love the book that it's adapted to, but I don't think this movie holds up on rewatches very much to me personally. I would probably put it around a 6 or 7 out of 10. It's not a bad movie, but I just don't think it holds up over time.
Okay. Whitey. Or hold on, Canoli. I don't know what order y'all are in. Hold on, let me take you out. Yeah, Whitey, you're next.
Okay.
Whitey's just Lydia.
Yeah, I think I'll just be Lydia for two. So,
Everybody's Lydia.
me being Lydia, I know every movie, so I just want to let you know. Yeah, to me, this movie, I don't know, it was one of those big movies, I guess, during childhood that was like, yeah, I don't know, it introduced me to a whole lot of new themes and a lot of new people, too. So the movie was a total chick magnet. So that alone, bumps it up to over 5. Then I don't know. I really love Tom Cruise's work in the movie. I like how everything was filmed in the movie. I don't think enough people kind of look at that aspect of it. The effects for the time and the budget, I think it looked great. Brad Pitt, of course, took it down. So I'm gonna have to give it 7 out of 10.
Oh.
Okay, all right. Canoli.
Oh God. I can't with this fucking guy. I think I was putting in the chat over the weekend watching. I was like, I just don't know how I feel about. Thank you. That's scary. Jesus Christ. How I felt about this movie. There was, like you said, so many things. The set pieces were absolutely amazing. Kirsten Dunst and Cruise nailed it. It felt like there was a lot left out because of knowing about the book. And they seem to, like we were talking about, they rushed the last act of the movie so fast. It was better than I initially had remembered. I'd probably give this 6 out of 10. A 6 out of 10. It's good enough. Nadia kind of has a point, though. I don't know if you had really been a fan of this movie back in the day, if it holds up anymore. But not terrible. Not terrible. So.
Okay. Gore.
Yeah, I think on a technical level, the movie is pretty stellar. You know, it's good, strong cinematography, incredible set design, really good musical score, which I don't even know if we touched on that very much, but the musical score of this movie is
it does have a good
very
score.
good. I think the first half of this movie is kind of great. Like the first hour kind of reminded me of why I probably watched the movie as many times as I did, despite by the end of it not feeling, you know, super duper into it. But that first hour is really, really strong. I think the second hour loses a lot of momentum, starts to tread water. Again, I think they missed an opportunity by not really exploring the allure of what Louis has to offer these other vampires, why they want to be with him so much. There is some really great acting from Tom Cruise and Kirsten Dunst. Brad Pitt's performance is kind of up and down. Never bad, but a little below par at times. And the last 30 minutes are quite rocky. So, but on the whole, I kind of would score it about the same as I've always scored it. I think it's about a 6.5 out of 10 overall.
Okay.
That's fair.
For myself, I think I give this movie 6.5 almost gay three-way kisses out of 10. You know, like, I do quite enjoy this movie. I actually disagree with Nadia. I think there's a lot of rewatch value just simply for the sets and the performances. Sorry, Nadia. I gotta disagree with you somewhere. I have internet files, okay, to keep up.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's kind of criminal. The set decoration didn't get more appreciation from the Academy and whatnot. Like Gord mentioned, the score is pretty great. I feel like this is two movies packed in one, oddly enough, because like the first half, it's very slow, it's very methodical, it's very much trying to explore like good and evil, life and death, what is the meaning of life. And then just like in the last 30 to 40 minutes, it ramps up and it introduces stuff that's pretty cool. It just feels very out of place with the way the rest of the movie comes together. So I think like how you guys had recommended, it would have benefited from being two separate movies as opposed to one movie. There's several things that I would have liked to have been explored even more on top of that, especially since this screenplay, even in some instances, takes information from other novels in the series and puts it in here. So it's not terrible, but oh, there we go. There's the picture. That's the winner. It's not terrible. I would still rank it as one of the better vampire films I've ever seen. Probably top 5, top 10.
Fair.
Yeah.
Does everybody in here have a favorite vampire film? Like a singular one?
Nosferatu, the original version.
Okay.
I would go Near Dark and Let the Right One In.
Okay.
I would
say Near Dark is my favorite. Let the Right One In, I think, is the best one.
I have a simp for Dracula, so.
Right.
Probably
OG
Dracula.
or Bram Stoker?
Bram Stoker.
Okay.
I think mine is 30 Days a Night.
Ooh, that's a great
That's
concept.
a fun one, actually. So
Yeah.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Yeah, I freaking love that movie. It's just a blast.
Have you read the comic?
Yes.
It's so good.
It's great. And then I read the comics that come afterwards too about Eben and Stella or whatever. I collected those back in college.
Oh, great, more comics I gotta buy now.
Right.
Oh, I think your kid would like it.
Sounds like
Canoli.
it. Yeah, sounds like it.
All right. Thank you guys for coming to discuss a gay movie. Very much appreciated. Hopefully we got some booster points in the YouTube algorithm for that. So I guess once more we'll go around. What do you guys got coming up? We'll start with you, Blaine. What you got coming up, bro?
Ooh, well, if it had been earlier this morning, I guess you could go and watch my Geeks and Gamers stream that I did this morning. I was on Geeks and Gamers Daily today. And as far as what's coming up, I actually am fairly chill after, well, we'll see. Because, like, with Geeks and Gamers, it was one of those things that was like the day before. And they're like, you're on stream tomorrow, get ready. So, you know, there's no telling what'll happen. But, and then obviously, we're still, we're doing the Criticalist Cast channel still. Go give us a sub, check out our videos. It's mostly me right now. But I'm still doing those and having fun with it. But I made a mistake and they dropped a giant nuke on our channel, and only like 40 people have been seeing our videos for the past like 2 weeks.
Whoa.
So,
Oh my God, what happened?
yeah. I put the word death in a title.
Oh, yeah.
gosh.
I've made that mistake before.
Yeah, and it was straight up like toast. Everything
No.
stopped. Like, yeah, so apparently that's a big no-no, and apparently you shouldn't do. Actually, I saw Cody Leach talking about it the other day too. He said also don't do it in thumbnails with text on thumbnails, and so yeah. So, anyways, hopefully I'll get out of YouTube jail soon.
Well, do not make that Death Wish 3 video.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Or just put a couple of stars over the EA.
right. But yeah, visit criticalist.com as always. It's popping off in there. Like honestly, it's been wild the past couple days. There are just so many new people in there.
Awesome.
Trying to see some pretty prominent names. I know I saw like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers recently joined. I think you said you were going to be on there pretty soon, right?
Well, this morning, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I posted a link in the chat there for.
Yeah,
for guys
we're
as well.
officially partnered with Geeks and Gamers, so it's like we got a shout out the other day on Friday Night Tights, and so stuff's rolling.
Congratulations, that's huge.
Thank you. Yeah, this has been brewing for months, so it's finally taken off and things are rolling and we're having a lot of fun with it. So they're all in. All the G&G crews kind of starting to pop up in there, and Epic Mike and Steph and everybody's been doing reviews and stuff. So it's getting busy. Cool things, and a lot of the G&G crowds, like just followers and stuff, are loving it. So
Blaine, I would say congratulations, and I do, but I'm not surprised because you guys are awesome. And this is definitely what I saw coming anyway.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Well, I know you were there from the beginning, Nadia. You guys were like, because you were doing the stuff with Salty Nerd at the time.
Yeah, and I'm behind in my reviews. Like super behind.
Listen, yeah, you and me both. If you saw the list of things that I still need to do reviews for, the problem is there's so many eyes on my stuff now that I'm just like, I'm like a lot more careful about.
You should just fuck with everyone now if there's that many eyes on you. Just like low rate things that are great. Like give Goodfellas like a bogus rating. Run with it.
Yeah, they gave me a lot of shit.
No.
Shoot, just tell them to look at some of my reviews.
Give Goodfellas a bad review.
Giving Halloween like a 40, and everyone's like, what?
Listen, Blaine,
if I can review stuff on there, anybody can review.
No, he could give Goodfellas a bad review. When we go to Vegas, we're taking his drive to the
desert. Yeah, I would deserve it. Well, I said Godzilla -1 was mid on the stream today. And,
yes,
kick him out. Kick him out. Kick him out.
No, he's on it. He's
not. No,
Blaine is our Bligga now.
Let me guess, Blaine. You like Saltburn?
It was all right. Saltburn was not too bad.
Jesus,
thank you.
I do think people went a little crazy with -1, but I do think it's pretty awesome.
It's overhyped.
I think it's pretty awesome.
It has problems. It
definitely has. It definitely has problems.
Yeah, it's got
definitely has problems.
What isn't overhyped is that mustache. Blaine is rocking that mustache, baby. I got Kurt Russell over here getting jealous. Shit.
Yeah, it was really getting going recently, but I let the side stubble grow out. I wasn't, because I've got a mullet right now too. So
nice. He's living his best life.
Like with the mullet and the mustache, like it was a lot. I was like,
I thought I saw business up front. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I got the party back here.
Yeah.
All right, Nadia, what do you got coming up?
How the fuck am I supposed to follow that? Jesus.
Plug your
do you mean talk after, or do you mean like follow on Twitter or something like that?
Right.
What do I've got going on? Thursdays I will be on Gooch from now on talking Arcane. Friday back on my horror channel talking From, and I just dropped a review on Heretic, so go check that out.
Yeah, I'm hearing it's good. So
Heretic is so good.
I gave it 100. Out of me. It scared me, Blaine. We'll talk about that's my Achilles heel. That type of horror. So
it's good.
I need to go see it in theater because I tried to watch it last night on a cam copy and then I fucking fell asleep 30 minutes in. I need to watch a proper I just don't have time to go to the theater this week. That's all. So
I'm shaking my head at you.
I'm sorry. I tried.
Wait. And I'll be back here Monday to talk about Twilight, the best vampire movie ever.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Nadia's not allowed back now. All right.
Listen, I bought my body glitter. I'm ready for next week, man.
Jesus.
All right, Whitey, what do you got coming up?
I'm going to be movie cynic right now, so hold on. There we go. I've got a bunch of recent videos out, and should be back at it this week. So check out Bear Clan. You can follow, check it out on Twitter. I think I should have it posted up there, but either way, I can always already throw it in the chat. So yeah, check that out for short little relaxing videos if you like pixel art.
Nice. Yeah, the pixel art's very
It's
fun.
good.
We're quite
Thank you so
enjoying
much.
that.
Sweet.
Gord, what you got coming up, bro?
I got a couple of meme videos I dropped this past week over on Gordish Memes. Which I'm debating whether to rename that channel Pepe Pumpkin. But I've also got my Terminator 1984 poorly explained video coming up this week. I'm gonna start editing that in the next few hours. So yeah, just looking forward to that. So there you go.
Nice. Canoli, what do you got coming up?
Well, as you know, Vex, we'll be back here next Monday, talking Twilight. We have a great panel for that. Minus Nadia now. we have Sassy coming on that one, and then Niat from Film Comics Explained and Nadia. So I'm looking forward. I have not watched. I don't think I've actually ever seen Twilight all the way through.
Can I recommend something?
Movies.
Watch it and then watch it with riff tracks.
Okay.
Watching it with riff tracks makes it like literally like the movie by itself is terrible, but watching it with riff tracks it's freaking hilarious.
I remember you mentioning that. I'll have to do that. And then I know the kid was excited to watch it with me for the first time. It's going to be hilarious. I can't wait to actually do that show next week. So
I love that of the list of movies I gave Niat, Twilight was the first.
Yeah,
he jumped on it immediately. I'm looking for
it. Was that an Alien Covenant?
Yeah. Oh Jesus, I forgot about that movie. Wow. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wait. Aren't we all, or at least a couple of us, aren't we going to be? Nadia, you're doing your Tim Burton stream this weekend, aren't you?
No, that was canceled.
Oh, I didn't.
Check the chat, Gord.
What
Yeah.
the frick?
I must have been asleep when that happened.
Yeah. No, that got canceled. We're gonna do just Christmas and Thanksgiving horror movies next month on.
Gotcha.
The 14th, I think, December 14th.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
As for myself, I had a Juror number 2 review drop yesterday. My views have just been tanking since I put out that Terrifier 3 review. I don't know what happened. So I had that. And then I am working on a Predator retrospect with the Badlands news that came out last week. So
it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I think that's gonna drop. If it's not this weekend, it'll be next weekend. I can't decide if I want to do a weekly or by like every other week release. So
I think you were a little too harsh on Prey.
I
terrible.
disagree. Prey is terrible.
Sucks.
Yeah, when you put it in the context of the rest of the Predator lore, it fucking sucks.
Hate that
Disagree.
movie.
Nobody asked you, Nadia.
Well, I can't wait for us to discuss that in January. On
Yes.
There you go.
There you go.
Gooch is on your side. Just remember that, Nadia, and he's got questions to fix.
Poor Coach.
Here's the olive branch. It's nowhere near as bad as The Predator. We'll give it that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Autism, baby.
But then
can't
again,
remember which
what
one that-
is?
Is that the one where they're going after the kid because the
Yeah,
kid
the
autism?
Autism
Yeah.
is the superpower. Like literally, The Predator actually is unironically worse than Twilight.
But at least Canoli had an origin story.
Yeah, I did. That's where it all started.
Yep.
How was that a Shane Black movie? Is what I want to know. Like
I
how
have
did
no
you put out
freaking
something?
He
Yeah.
is so hit and miss, dude.
Yeah.
That is
Like-
that's like the ball being like near the like actually near touching the plate and swinging over your own head. Like how did you miss that freaking bad?
It was
Holy
funny because
crap.
that movie was funny when it wasn't trying to be intentionally funny in certain parts.
It's a shit movie.
I don't
It is
remember
a shame.
laughing. I more felt like I was being.
I was
tortured.
laughing because of how bad it was.
Bad it was. It was
It's-
bad.
I think
It's
no. I
one
was
of
just
the worst like franchise movies I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
I
was
still
just
haven't seen Alien versus Predator, either of them yet.
You know what, Nadia? They're not spectacular, but they're fun. They're
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're
It's,
very
it's like
the
campy, cheesy fun.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
first one especially is it's dumb fun. It's nowhere. It's
Yeah.
not a good movie. Neither, and I didn't see Requiem, but
Kind of like Freddy versus Jason. Like it's
Freddy
gotta-
versus Jason's actually better than people think.
It's entertaining.
It is.
at least.
It's
Freddy
en-
versus
I actually think it's this will sound weird, but I think it's better written than the first one. It's a better written movie than the first one.
Doesn't take itself seriously. It just plays on the.
But it
lore.
actually
Good.
explains itself
Yeah,
in
yeah.
ways that most of the other Nightmare movies don't. It's kind of
True.
almost impressive.
AVP Requiem. I mean, just good luck with that because you can't see anything that goes on in that movie. That's all.
Oh, fucking! When people can't light their fucking movies at night, I can't do that.
It's
Always
really
on my
bad
shit
'cause-
list for that shit.
Right. Like there's several scenes where like they're just like, look out. You're just like, for what?
Well, why can't we see shit? Whoever wrote the Aliens comics that I'm reading, like the old ones from the 90s, they need to give that dude the script to write. Because these two books I'm reading follow Alien 2 and what should have been Alien 3, sorry, and the fourth movie. And they're fucking spectacular. And they basically just changed the lore, which is, thank God. So, yeah. They, I don't know. It's fucking reading these pisses me off because the author writing these books in there says this is what should have been Alien 3, Alien 4 movies.
I
And
still
God,
have
it's so
the
good.
Predator omnibus on my wish list.
I'm getting that.
You know what? I'm reading through it now. I'm done the first run, which basically should have been what the Predator